Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Marvel Show. I'm Spidey, and I hope you're having a marvelous day. Look who we have. Of course, we have Manu, the 9.9 Newsstand, but our guest of honor, Naj. How's it going, Naj?
Hey,
It's 180,000 degrees in London, and it's also like 2 a.m. in the morning, but we're very happy that she's
it
here.
is. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Very
It's really
happy.
boiling here. Thank you. I'm so happy being here as well. I hope it won't be like an all-nighter kind of situation where you keep me for 10 hours. I
Well, the
hope
good
not.
news is already all night where you're at, so we've got all the time in the world.
Oh yeah, so we actually have nothing to worry about. We've already done that.
Yeah,
Who
well,
needs to
look.
sleep, right?
It is so good to already see so many in the chats. Coins A to Z. Hello, how's it going? Stacking 9MM. What's up, my friend? We got Deadpool Deeds. What is he saying there,
What's
Manu?
up, everybody?
Guess what day
What
it
is he
is?
saying? I can't guess what day it is. Is
It's,
it what day is it? Is it well? It's Marvel Show Day.
it's Tuesday.
Okay, I
It
Tuesday.
thought I
is
was missing something.
Wednesday.
It's Tuesday.
Wednesday here.
I got a message last night from
Yeah.
Naj said, "Hey, I'm not going to be able to make it tonight." I was like, "We have." She was like, "I need the rest." I said, "Well, you got 24 hours because it's actually
I get
Tuesday."
confused very easily, and I was like, in my mind, it's a Tuesday night, so it was night and it was Tuesday in my screen, in my
Oh, you know what that
phone.
means?
So it
That
says
means we
Tuesday and it
actually
says
owe
night.
the globe 2 shows.
Yeah, yeah, 2-1.
we owe the other side of the globe their Tuesday night show, and then the Western
Oh yeah,
Hemisphere should get their Tuesday night show. This is
that's
Yeah,
absolutely
and
true.
think about Australia as well.
yes. So we have a lot
Oh
of
yeah,
friends in the
we have
chat
to.
where
We
it's
have to.
Wednesday. So happy Wednesday to you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Bryce,
I
how's it
I
going?
will say I don't know if I'm cutting in and out. I'm having connection issues, but if we're good, we're good. But if I have a delay in responding to anyone, I apologize. It's just because my internet is a bit fuzzy at the moment.
Well, you're coming through loud and clear, so that's good. Free Energy's here. Ayo, how's it going?
Good.
Constantine, you've already said hello to him. Dan, happy
Yeah,
Tuesday to you.
Dan, what's going on? Oh, I missed a bunch of them. Tape trainings in here with us. Free energy, you just said. Bryce, hello.
Yep.
I'm trying to find a way
Just
to be able to read the comments.
just collectibles, tape, like you said, Swiss rips. Here we go.
My
Watch the
man.
commercials, y'all. he's too kind. So speaking of
Yes, please.
commercials, I have been working on a potential intro. A potential intro to the show.
Potential.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
Okay. Okay.
I'll let's see if I can give the live just like a little like something like this, and then it's gonna turn into us hanging out. Anyways, I've been working on that. We'll see if that's ready for next Tuesday night. It'd be good.
Oh, nice.
What's up,
Nice.
Adam? Force Moon Collectibles. And how's it
He
going, my
says, what
friend?
does he say? He says, Forest Moon. Hey, Adam, Forest Moon says, I'm sitting here ripping a full tops 1979 Alien movie wax box while watching. Life is good. Life is great, my friend. And hearing that definitely inserts a magical energy. I want to see
Yeah.
those cards. I look forward to seeing what you pull out of those packs. That's awesome.
What is the
Good
hit of the
luck.
box
Lots of
out of a
good.
1979 Alien box?
Say it again.
What's the hit of the box out of set 1979 Alien?
Yeah, what
movie
is the hit of the
box?
box?
It's got to be Connors, right? No, is it
Yeah,
Connor? What's
that's
her name?
crazy. I
Is
really
that
want
her
to know.
name? It always surprises me that movie is that old.
That's nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's actually crazy. Like I think about it as a movie that came out when I was, in the late 80s or early 90s or
Late
something when I
80s,
was
yeah.
young, but it came out before that. Wow.
That is crazy. Samuel almost snagged my blue PMG. Oh man, hate you missed out on it. I got some cool cards in hand. I got these in today. You've probably seen them on the show, but
Oh,
this
that
is
card. Yeah,
yeah.
very
So
cool.
that's a
I
sketch
don't
card.
like it. Whoa.
It's
That's
remember,
that's a sketch card?
that's a sketch card by Ash Gonzalez.
Man, Ash killed it. Wow.
It's
He's
the
so massive,
it's
isn't
the
he?
homage.
To the 86 Jordan Fleer rookie.
Right. But what's really funny is the grade it got.
Oh, this is the card you were telling me about. Yeah, I mean, come on, guys. How are you going to put a 6 on something someone drew? It's obviously made intentionally.
Look at the centering, 5.5. It was deliberately drawn off center.
But what about that top to bottom? Why is I think it's a 5.5 because it's so heavy on the top compared to the bottom.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why I got the centering grade, but that's actually not the center of the card. It's a blank.
I think
Right,
the
yeah.
person who graded this didn't know that it was a sketch card.
It's that good of a sketch that they
Yeah.
didn't
It's that
realize.
good. I mean, if I was up close, maybe I'd be able to identify, but from what I'm looking at, like just on the screen, it looks like a photo of someone dressed like Spider-Man dunking.
Exactly.
Isn't that special? I kind of think it's funny now that it has a 6 because it's that good of a sketch that it got that grade. You know, the grade doesn't matter on the sketch, by the way.
Right, it doesn't at all. I mean, it's a 1 of 1. And
Yeah.
you know what's interesting to me is that Ash put the thought into it to make the border misaligned to look more like the authentic card because they're usually so off center.
He actually, so I would love that if Ash said, "Hey, I took the thought to do that." That's not what happened. He took an image offline and used it, and it was off centered. So the card was drawn off center.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, all right.
But the
that's
majority of
funny too.
Jordans are off centered, and so then we got this beauty.
Oh wow!
Look at
That's
that.
nice.
So that is this is a royal foil numbered to 99. But look at those, look at the grades up there. 10 centering, 9.5 edges, 9.5 corners, 9.5 surface. This is a true gem mint. Gold
Very
on
nice.
gold, gold foil, gold label.
That's really a stunning card, my man. Like I didn't notice the pattern of the Spidey emblems reflecting in the back prior. Like that's a gorgeous card.
The lighting here is not going to do us any justice with this slab, but really is special.
Very special.
Yeah, it really is.
And they've got
Charles
one more.
Fuchs.
Charles,
what's up?
And then I got this one in today.
Whoa!
Oh, a PMG.
Red PMG.
Red.
It got the dreaded PSA 8.5.
My goodness.
That's the only half grade they give is 8.5.
It's so weird that they
just
do that.
Just give me the 9, you know?
Seriously, yeah, I agree with you.
It looks so great. Why 8.5?
Well, it doesn't. We don't get subgrades on PSA, so all we can do is guess.
Yeah. They don't tell us
like
nothing.
About BGS is you get subgrades.
Well, Justin, I'm
good
really,
evening.
Sorry, I was going to say that I'm really enjoying your Spidey hit of the day.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, these will be featured, probably in a couple of weeks, but I really do appreciate that. I enjoy putting them together. It allows me to get to spend a moment with my cards.
What is that leading up to again? It's a Spidey hit per day until
Spider-Man metal.
Oh, okay. So this is going to go on for a few years. Got it.
Yeah, like I might run out of Spideys. I have to keep buying.
Yeah. You're gonna have to start opening up some of those. What were the packs left on ePack? The movie packs that you said. I watched your last your news program.
Yeah.
And you were like, these are the only 3 left, and no one's bought these forever, and that's why they're still here. But this is it.
Yeah, they're probably sold out now. Yeah, I got to check on that.
Oh, what else? Brian got Instagram account of the week, and it is very true, man. Brian's account, Amazing Spider Guy, he's supposed to have like not 5,000. He's supposed to have like 50,000 followers.
Exactly, I agree.
He has. Yeah, what he's done from a collecting standpoint, and then how he curated it onto his Instagram account is really special.
Yeah. Hats off to him. Keep doing what you're doing. We got you, my friend. We see it all. That's crazy.
Yeah. So Bryce says, so excited. I got my first SGC grades. Got a 9.5 on a 2018 Marvel Masterpiece Tier 4 Loki. That's really awesome. Those cards do not grade well because they're thick. They're basically 100 point. So instead of 4 corners, you got 8 corners that you got to protect.
Yo, makes all the sense. Yep.
Hi, Spidey News and ladies and gentlemen.
Hello.
Okay. Hey, speaking of news, how about Johnny Bravo?
Oh gosh.
Let's fix the screen here.
dude. I'm gonna Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, you keep talking. I'm gonna pull it up
Casually posted today a
casually.
9.9 newsstand of the Wolverine 1, the miniseries, right? The miniseries Wolverine 1. What's the year on
Frank
that book?
Miller.
88. It's Frank Miller. Yes. What's the year? I forget the year. 88?
It
No, I
is.
don't know. I forget.
It is
88?
1982.
82.
Is what?
9.9 newsstand. I always start thinking, oh my gosh, that's worth a lot. And this is not what we're talking about, but the truth is it's worth an enormous amount. But regardless, that's incredible. And it's got the vintage CGC label. This was graded when CGC first became a grading company.
Yes.
There's
I think
so
that's priceless. That's priceless.
It's priceless. This is a treasure. This is an honest treasure. This is something we likely won't see again in this configuration. I'll have to check the census to see how many 9.9s of this book exist. I mean, there may be more than one,
I think
but
there's two other ones. Does he speak about it here?
This book, I don't think he did in the caption, but I'll pull it up in a second. But this book, that's what this book is. That's what this book is. That's what this book is. There are no words for it. It is breathtaking. It's an absolute treasure. This is the thing that dreams are made of. That's crazy. Johnny, my goodness.
Yeah, because again, just to hit the high points, it's not only a newsstand, it's not only a 9.9. When CGC was grading these books early on, when they got the red label, it was because they were considered modern books. And within like a year, they realized, oh, what's modern now will soon be old. So we can't keep doing that. That's dumb.
Yeah.
But there's rumors that they were grading more difficult. What's the word I'm looking for? They were more strict on the grading of modern books back then. I don't know if that's true. That's just
it's one of those things that's nice for people to say, but there's been plenty of scenarios. Yeah.
But either way, to have a 9.9 in a red label as a newsstand is really awesome. And very happy that a Wolverine collector owns it.
Dude, that's the collection it belongs in. That's so incredible. Like my jaw's been on the floor all day because I did not anticipate seeing that, and I still couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was just blown away.
This was in honor of Johnny tonight. I got the Wolverine coffee cup.
Very nice. Very nice. Oh, Neo's in the building. Hey man, how are you? Nice to see you.
Neo, and Neo, you're always welcome. Neo gave us a really nice shout out last night on his live. I really do appreciate that. And if you're here,
I missed the shout out, but I was in the live for a little bit. Yeah.
If you're a comic book fan, Marvel card fan, Neo Cards and Comics is definitely a channel you have to be following. The truth is you probably already are, but if there's one here who may not be sure to check out Neo Cards and Comics.
Hey, Justin, real quick, you said that book was from 82, but I just pulled it up from 88. Are you sure it's 82? What does it say? I want to make sure I'm looking at the right one.
Well, just reading what is in the caption here from Johnny, it says the 82 limited series is still my favorite Wolverine.
Okay, I'm in the wrong one. Yeah, I was in the wrong one. I'm trying to find that one. Well, I don't know why I can't find it. That's odd, but it's definitely user error. It is.
So you're looking at, well, there's more. Yeah, obviously there's more than one Wolverine series. There's the
I'm trying to find that 82 one.
Okay,
but you guys carry on.
We're gonna do
information in a moment.
Ryan, how's it going? Hey, what's up, Ranger 4 Collector? Good morning. Marvelous Packs, how's it going, Vic?
Packs.
He says he just won a couple auctions. Very good.
Ooh, cool. Oh, wait, are they physical things or are there auctions going on for like digital cards and NFTs? What game is he playing tonight?
He plays both. I don't know. He'll have to tell us which one he's playing. So
okay. All right, I got the book pulled up. I still don't have the book pulled up because that says there's 9.9s. Here it is. Here's the book. Guys, I have it. Oh, okay, this is very interesting. Let's talk about this really quickly. There are so many graded of this book. This is popular, which is going to make that 9.9 even more extraordinary. Dig this, guys. 21,953 graded copies. 21,000. So let's call that 22,000. In 9.8, there are a total. This is combining combining blue label and signed. There's less than 1,000 signed, but combined, there are 4,362 9.8s.
That's
Let's
a
just
lot.
call that 4,500. Let's just say there's 22,000 graded and there are 4,500 9.8s. There are 28 9.9s out of the 22,000 graded books. 28.
How many of the? How many
How
of
many
the?
are newsstands?
Mhm.
Possibly only one, because we can't verify, and it may
Right.
very well be the one that Johnny has. But in that time frame, there were almost an equal amount of newsstands as there were direct, so maybe more survived. There are also, interestingly enough, 3 10s. There are 3 10s of that book. I don't even want a 10. I want a 9.9. But there's the numbers, guys.
And a newsstand. You want
Yeah,
9.9 newsstand.
Yeah, if I had a 9.9 direct,
Are
it would
you-
be for sale.
Are you serious? You would take the 9.9 over the 10?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's an emotional. No, obviously, realistically, if someone put both of them in front of me, I'm not a fool. I'm taking the 10. But
Yeah.
emotionally, I appreciate more what a 9.9 symbolizes just in life, just in my mantra of living and everything. So that's the one that speaks to me. But Neo said newsstands are overrated, but he did put the emoji with the tongue coming out. So we're just gonna laugh with him. That's pretty funny. I don't even know if he's serious or joking, but it's funny anyway.
No, he's having a good time. I know Neo. He also says, "I want Spider-Man metal and I want it now."
Yeah.
In his
I'm with you.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory impersonation there. We all do.
Oh, is
and,
that okay?
In fact, you guys carry on. I'm gonna check a message that I got as I sat down here to go live. Let me see this real quick.
Okay, and
I got
Charles
a
Fook
question.
said, "Oh yes, who? Yes, go."
Last week, Noren gave you an assignment.
I did not watch Iron Man.
Okay. Okay.
So I will tell you,
Thinking,
I was a good friend. I reached out to my friend Manu last night and I said, "Hey, bud, you got an assignment. It's Iron Man." He's like, "It's not going to happen."
I said it's not going to happen in time, and then Justin was even kind enough to say, "You can have my logins, just watch it." And I politely was like, "I'll get my own," which was kind of my way of saying it'll happen eventually, But I will watch it. I will. Charles Fook said that he's going to crack 109.8s, going for that 9.9. My friend, do it, my friend, do it.
Oh gosh.
I recently did an experiment. I got no 9.9s back. I feel a bit foolish, but I did it. I tried.
what did you do? Sorry?
When I sent all of those lethal protectors, the uncirculated lethal protectors, and I was like, I know they're going to give me at least one 9.9. No, they didn't give me any 9.9s. They gave me a bunch of 9.8s and some 9.6s.
All right. So I have a question for our friend Neo.
Yeah, that's the book. Yes.
Oh, look at that.
That's one of the ones that came back from my experiment, and now it belongs to Naj. I'm so proud of it. I'm so proud. I'm so happy that it's in Naj's collection. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you
Naj.
for the book. Very beautiful book, my friend. Love it.
So Neo, last week at the end of the 4th hour of our show, we got into this conversation about.
Oh, Neo says he's not a newsstand guy, so he was serious. Neo, I want to be on a screen with you one day having this conversation. That's what I want to do. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no, all good. And so Neo, we had this conversation about what should Marvel cards be called if it's the first time a character appears on a Marvel trading card? Should it be called that character's rookie card? Should it be called that character's first appearance on the card? Should it be called that character's first print on the card? What should it be called, or should it be called anything? Should it not be anything at all other than, hey, it's just a Spider-Man card or a Venom card or whatever? It caused a lot of dialogue, and I probably got, I don't know, no less than 10 messages throughout the week, whether either on YouTube or in Instagram, talking to me about it, going into more discussion about it. So I'm curious, Neo, what you think.
Oh, and I want to go ahead.
Neo says first appearance, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm team first appearance myself.
I am not. My opinion.
Swami and Charles both say first appearance.
I just want to debate this thing a little bit, because you remember when they started, I'm not going to say who, but when they started this kind of a trend saying that the first appearance of Deadpool is not the comic, but it's the card. Do you remember when that happened?
Mm-hmm.
And then the price of the card, they started pushing the price of the card until like they said it reached 10K
Mm-hmm.
at the BSA 10. Happened like a little bit over a year ago.
Yeah, the comic book spiked because of it, because it's the Deadpool rookie card came in a poly bag of a comic book, and so
Yes.
people were buying the comic book to crack the poly bag to get the card out to grade to try to get the PSA 10.
Yes.
Does that card say rookie on it?
No.
Because
No.
you just called it a Deadpool rookie card very easily, very smoothly.
Well,
It
because
just rolled
that's
right out of your mouth.
and the reason is because that's what the market called it, and still
Yes,
calls
that's
it to
what the
this day.
market called it, and we're not going to say who. We're just
Mhm.
going to leave it for your assumptions. But that's why I think writing first appearance on the card without saying first appearance on card or something may cause a distraction or confusion. Because for that card, maybe it was printed before, the actual first appearance of the character. But I mean, then it should say something about it. You know what I mean? Like it should differentiate this sort of stuff. It shouldn't be just first appearance and that's all. Because maybe people would assume then that card, actually was printed before the comic.
Mhm.
And
So-
I go ahead.
Well, like if you're saying if it has a different historical significance, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, in my opinion.
Well, no, your opinion is not just your opinion, because I share that opinion as well. Because if you call something the first appearance and you don't follow it up with anything or provide context for someone that doesn't know what's going on, it could easily be assumed that that's the first time anyone ever saw whatever that thing is on that card. And and there are definitely exceptions. I didn't know that Deadpool card was said to be created before New Mutants 98. Maybe I forgot all about that. I just remember that card just blowing up because the market was blowing up a year and a half ago, and that was one of the cards that got caught up in all of the excitement. That's what I remember. But regardless, if like what you're saying is, if you just call things a first appearance, the implication there to someone that's not as involved in it is that this is the first time that thing appeared. Now, for most of the cards, even though there are exceptions, there are a few that it might be the first appearance on that card itself. Like if you take a character like Harley Quinn, she first appeared in a animated series before ever being in a comic book, right? So there's nuance to people's first appearances, and those have to be articulated. I think if you call it a first appearance, for the most part, everyone's going to understand what's going on, but it in fact isn't. If we're going to be super detailed about it and super critical about it, well, then that can't be a detail that's just brushed over, because why are we not brushing over all the details then? Now, before I go into this a little bit more, I will say, Justin, I'm completely with you in that it's not a rookie card. Here's the cleanest way for me to say it, because there's plenty of points that could be made, but here's the cleanest way to say it. When you have a basketball player or any athlete that has a rookie card, he or she doesn't only have one. It's a rookie season, and any card that's created within that season is a rookie card. Kobe's got plenty, Iverson's got plenty, everyone's got plenty of rookie cards. That doesn't imply that it's the first time that person's likeness ever appeared on a small piece of printed cardboard, right? It's just a term that's synonymous with sports. We know it is their premier season, and that's why it's called a rookie card. So obviously, if you want to be completely accurate about it, you cannot apply that into the comic book or the comic card world. That we completely agree. But when someone's asking the question, like, we could tear this apart left to right all we want, but this is unavoidable. When someone's asking a question, whether they say, what's the rookie card, what's this, what they're asking is, what's the first time this character was on a card? So the stripped down version of that is first card. That's what it is. Now, if you want to have the word appearance in there, first card appearance is perfect. It is more detailed than first appearance, and it's actually accurate. And that, you don't have to take up that much real estate, because you strip that down to FCA. And even if you make it 4 words, first appearance on card.
Even if it's just
card,
FC. Yeah.
Even if it's FC, well, FC would have my heart. I'm just throwing the appearance in there, so I'm not the only one on the outside fighting this fight. Now, FC is perfect. Now, Noren brought up another very interesting point, and I don't remember the exact context that he brought it up in. But in that conversation last week, Noren brought up the example of Spider-Man's first appearance in some set in the 60s, right? But he appears.
Donruss.
1960, what was it?
Donruss.
Donruss. And he mentioned that there was multiples, I think 6 of
9.
the Spider-Man cards, 9 cards in
9.
that set. So you can't name any of them the first card because we don't know which one was actually printed.
Not o-
That doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But
not only
we would
that,
call
on
it-
the backside of some of the other cards is an image of Spider-Man.
That's very
fact-
interesting too.
In fact, the
Yeah.
whole panel of some other cards make a rear image of Spider-Man.
Oh, I wonder if that's what Vintage Lord was showing the other day. No, I don't think. Maybe. Oh, he's actually in here right now. So the point, when it's one of those sets, when it's a set where the character first premiered on a card within that set, but multiple cards, I think those cards just have to be identified as first set, because you can't explain the whole thing, but you can say first set. And the implication of that, once this becomes readily known in the community and circulated as the vernacular, the implication of that, if anyone sees FS or first set, means that, oh, in this set, this character appeared more than one time. And now they will have to do their due diligence to find out exactly how many times. I don't think it's PSA's responsibility, CGC's. I don't think it's anyone's responsibility to give all of the details. So you're a collector, figure it out. But we'll give you the top line information. And top line information is, what's the first card that this character ever showed up on? That's first card or first card appearance, whatever you want to call it. But it shouldn't just be first appearance. Because if you're just going to call it that, you might as well just call it rookie, because they're both inaccurate. And then in terms of first set, when there's more than one appearance of that person in that set, I think first set sounds good. So right now, currently, I, in my mind and soul, feel like first card or first card appearance or first set are pretty great identifiers. And the only reason I'm even putting my foot down and saying I don't agree with first appearance is because I got slapped all over the place last time I was laxed about my opinion, so I'm not laxed about it anymore. That is my opinion, and I hope that's what ends up happening. I do. Love
it. So question for you. Yeah. With, say, the Donruss, which has multiple Spider-Man cards, and that's who most people focus on first, could the hobby, I won't say market, but could the hobby say, well, let's figure out which one of these comic book images on the cards is actually earlier in the actual comic book, and then peg that one as the greater of the rest?
No, I think that's just a game for people to play if they have free time on their hand. I don't think that's actually of the real significance we're looking for here.
The games are fun. So when it comes to the Michael Jordan 86 Flair rookie, do you know what year his rookie year was?
I mean, no. I mean, I would assume 86. I don't know.
1984.
There you go. That's interesting.
Can somebody explain that to me? Let's see.
Someone
in the sports world, there's always a disagreement. Charles says most hardcore collectors say that the card must be pack pulled and distributed widely. So he's saying, is the Star Jordan rookie card or 86 Jordan? Argument still continues. So he's making a point here that there's a card that came out, I don't know when, let's say it was 84, because again, I don't know what I'm talking about. But that card has not been dubbed the rookie card. The 86 Flair Jordan is, because of what he just said. It was widely distributed. But it was not his rookie year. It was 2 years later.
That's wild. I did not know that, dude. Yep. I'm not a sports guy like that. So
my point is even the term rookie is not always applied correctly, and it's not even applied correctly to the most iconic rookie card in sports.
That's wild.
And Star came out in 1984. So here's the other interesting thing about the Star. PSA, I believe, was not grading the Star card until this year. I think Beckett, has been grading it. Okay, I'm getting way off my expertise here, but I think that's true. My point is this is still debated even in the sports world amongst the most iconic rookie card.
Yeah. That's just fascinating. I want to look more into that. Neo's probably spent quite a bit of time on his channel discussing things of that sort, but I would love to be privy, just hearing a conversation between people that are well versed in sports cards and deep into that world, hearing them discuss that or debate that. I was not even aware of that. I loosely heard it on a YouTube show, when they were touring a card shop recently, but I didn't make anything of it. I was like, oh, I didn't know that. But that would be very, very cool for me to figure that out or learn more about that.
To me, at the end of the day, the idea, the concept of first appearance, first time on a card, rookie card, is actually more about having dialogue and debate than anything else.
That is cool. I mean, we love that in our hobby. We like being able to. Well, some people do. I pretty much.
We do it in comics.
Yeah.
What was the first appearance of this character? No, that was cameo. No, that was first full appearance. No, that's first full appearance on cover. It's not. It's universal.
I don't even. It's universal, but it's so funny to me how people debate that kind of stuff. Like, how are you confused that the cameo is a cameo? It's the last page of the book, one picture. It's a cameo. What are you arguing
because
about?
It's the full image. It's not a shadow or a whisper or just a thought bubble.
But no one defines cameo as an eyelash. You know, a cameo is the first time a character pops up saying there'll be more of this guy later, guy or gal. That's a cameo. When an actor makes a cameo in a movie, he just pops into the movie.
Well,
not
the
his pinky finger.
The first appearance is actually when he appeared on an ad showing that the character was coming later.
And those are very cool debates, right? Because that is why books like this are so important.
That's not Spawn's first appearance.
And you know what? It actually is not Spawn's first appearance, but it's Spawn's first appearance in the shape of a comic book that could be actually put into a comic book, because his appearances prior to this could be put in a comic book bag, could go into a CGC case. His appearances prior to this were in basically newspapers, little, weekly readers from your comic book store, which are awesome to have. And if you have them in high grade, they're very cool. But that is not something that collectors run around looking for, and you can't, put it in a comic book bag. And then the other one is a previews catalog, which is the size of a Yellow Pages, right? It's a thick catalog with the actual image from the back of this book printed on the front of it. Those two came up before this, and they are expensive and they're very hard to find. But this is the first comic book thing that has Spawn on it. And it's actually the image from Spawn #1, just less polished, less refined, with the logo that never made it into production.
I prefer that image and logo.
I love this. So when you're talking about healthy debate, you're right. That's what makes this so cool. I mean, this costs a multiple of what a Spawn 1 costs, and that's not just because it's the first appearance. Right. It's because for every 1 million of those, there's 10 of these.
But
so that's the reason.
What if CGC and CBCS refused to grade that for the last 30 years, saying it's not a comic book? It's not the first appearance, like apparently what happened with the Michael Jordan Star rookies. And then all of a sudden one day they're like, oh, now all of our buddies have those stashed up. Let's start grading them again.
There's a lot of fun nuance that happens with this stuff, and there just is. But I've never been confused about cameos versus first fulls or anything like that. It always made quite clear sense to me.
Manu, when was your first full appearance on the channel?
It was 14 weeks ago now.
14 weeks.
It was 14 weeks ago. I can't believe it. Time flies. Waiting for Tuesday takes years, and then 14 weeks goes by in a couple of hours.
It does.
My goodness.
So Naj, Spider-Man is 80 years old next month.
Oh my gosh, we have so many comments. How are we ever?
We do. 80 years old. It's beyond amazing. This is the week of Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Now, as comic book, enthusiasts, how does the week of Comic-Con impact you, and how do you prepare for it?
I'm sorry, who asked that
become
question?
very frustrated and very sad and very depressed.
Because
I am not there.
Oh. But you're here.
Yeah. At least I get to see my friends this week. You too.
Yeah. And Naj, you like to get good deals on stuff, so a Comic-Con is not where you want to be.
I know, but it's good to meet the people that like.
No, I know.
Everyone you know on Instagram is at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Everybody.
One of the things that's going on at San Diego Comic-Con right now is some of I think it's considered the first full appearance of the Mandalorian, Mando Dinjarin, with a cameo appearance of Grogu is being released. Now, are either of you Star Wars fans at all?
I am the bit of just.
I watched Star Wars once only when I was a kid. End of story.
Naj, Symbiote Rain says it's nice to see you on the show again. Symbiote Rain, isn't it?
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Before we leave the topic of the I mean, obviously we're not going to leave the topic. We'll be talking about that indefinitely, but hopefully not indefinitely. I want to say that Old Man Venom and I, who I mentioned on the last episode, we had some conversation in the interim here as well. Is interim the same word as meantime? Like in between then and now?
interim, same thing. Yeah.
something. I just don't know the
Mhm.
definition of it, but I thought okay, I guess I do then. And so
Yep.
we had a little debate about it, not a debate, we had a discussion about it as well. And it's really nice the connection that Old Man Venom and I created just recently. We've always been friends, we've always been connected on Instagram, but this was our first time exchanging voice notes
Hmm.
and comparing opinions and ideas of other people. And he's so passionate about cards, which we already discussed, so on and so forth. But he wanted to be a part of the conversation. Well, no, that sounds funny. We
Yeah.
were in a conversation together, and I told him that on our live, I'm definitely going to bring up this conversation, and he was saying rookie card and stuff as well. And I said, man, wait till Justin hears this. And he goes, tell Justin I said rookie card, but also tell Justin that I know exactly what we're talking about, and that he's had some conversations as well
Mhm.
with other people in the hobby about this. And I didn't know that. I said, man, you guys have been discussing all this stuff and I didn't even know. And he also uses, first card appear. He actually, in
Mhm.
conversation with me, said first appearance card. No, he said first card appearance. He said the exact words that we
Mhm.
were putting together last episode. And I said, when did you come up with that?
Mhm.
And they had been having those conversations organically. So I thought that was really great. And he
Mhm.
he and I both agreed on the fact. He was like, when people say rookie, I know what they mean. But he said if someone ever called Amazing Spider-Man 300 the rookie for Venom, he said I'd lose it. I said, yeah, that's it. you know? And so I just wanted to give him a shout out and say what up. And hopefully soon I'll be joining him on his channel, and
Mhm.
we'll be talking Venom and things, and hopefully the community can join there as well.
And just
Absolutely.
for
I've,
those who don't know Old Man Venom, he's a great artist.
Oh
You
yeah,
really have to check his art.
yeah.
yeah,
He's
for sure.
amazing.
Well,
Absolutely. I mean, he's a great artist. He's a curator. He's a collector. He is literally a pillar in, like
mhm.
people say that, but he's literally a pillar in the community. The amount of symbiote fan base he has
Mhm.
brought together and turned into a loving environment to share comic books and discuss things. He's
Mhm.
responsible for a great deal of that, and he's an OG in it too. So yeah,
Well, a lot of
absolutely.
that energy of his is now focused on Marvel cards.
Yeah,
He's been vocal about that, and that's really
yeah,
cool. We
yeah.
won't be able to wrap up the first
Hmm.
appearance on card rookie debate here, but some of the animosity from the Marvel card community towards the term rookie card is because that term can be used to hype up a character in an effort to sell it at a higher price. You know, first rookie PMG, first rookie jambalaya, first rookie this or that or that or this, in an effort to say, well, rookies are expensive over here in this card hobby. Therefore, that should make this expensive. Therefore, I'm going to pay more for it. And that's some of the reason for the animosity that some people may get if they're just casually using the term rookie card, or especially if they're using it in a sales post that some of the Marvel card community might have towards the phrase.
That makes a lot of good sense. Card Freak, hello, my friend. How are you? I
What's
do
up,
want to
man?
point. Yeah, what's going on? He did mention up here about a book that he recently picked up. He said, "I just want to let you know that I recently got an ASM 252 Newsstand CGC 96 custom cityscape label, that beautiful skyline with Spidey
Hmm.
on it,
Nice.
for $425. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
That's
Congrats, my
awesome.
friend."
Love
Yeah.
it.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
So we had a comment up here about Hawaii. I'm going to go find it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's go into a tropical climate real quick. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Yes. Let's
Yeah.
see. Goodness gracious. We've got, here it is. A lot of comments. Hey, Spidey, I'm visiting Hawaii soon. I know you did a video from there. Any recommendations on a comic book store or hobbies shops to visit?
Oh,
Yes, I don't remember them. There's actually a tremendous amount of fans of Marvel cards, well, and comics too, in Hawaii. And I'm sure we can get some recommendations. If any of our Hawaii residents are watching the show, please drop it in the comments. But this actually allows me to pivot to a topic that I wanted to cover tonight, especially while Naj is here. And that is, I'm curious what everyone's experienced recently, like in the last 2 years,
yeah.
or maybe the last year because of COVID, has been in a physical comic book store. And then to drill down a little bit more, and I know Manu and Naj, you may not have this experience, but especially for Marvel cards, when I was in Hawaii, quick story. When I was in Hawaii, I went into one of these comic book shops, and we pulled up, and the store wasn't open. Like I was waiting for it to open, and I'm in Hawaii with my family, but I want to make this content. Like I'm hunting Marvel cards in Hawaii. Like that's the content that I wanted to make, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm standing at the door, and the owner of the store comes up, and he's like he basically is opening up the store. Long story short, and I have my camera, my phone, whatever, like this, and as he opens the door, I'm like this. I'm going, hey, and I'm going to ask him, is it okay if I record in the store? But immediately he goes into, hey, how you doing? What brings you here? What are you looking for? Like he just like didn't even give me a chance to say anything. And as this person is like going into that, like whatever, like, hi, what are you doing? What are you looking for? What are you doing? He goes, are you recording me? Are you recording me? And like tries to grab my phone from me and like get pretty like physically aggressive. And I'm like, I'm trying to turn it off because I haven't had the chance to answer the question. That's what alerted him that I was recording. And anyways, it ended up not being a great experience, long story short.
Wow.
And I would say that for the most part, I haven't in a lot of the comic book stores that I've been in. And in the last year, I've been in a lot, from Dallas to Arkansas to Georgia to Hawaii to Las Vegas. Like I've got to California. Like I've been to quite a few stores around the country in the last 12 months. And it's kind of universal that it doesn't feel like that. It's not like, hey, welcome. How can I help you? What are you into? It is, and I get that there's maybe after like, maybe you have some people that come in that are not, like customers that are not friendly, or maybe customers that come in and they just want to share everything they know, and you kind of build up these walls or whatever. Like I get that.
Yeah.
But there's got to be an evolution of the comic book store or the hobby shop, or the card stores. Specific card stores have been better. There's just a different energy around cards the last year, but man, I'm curious from the chat and from both of you, what evolution would you like to see comic book shops make?
I will just make it very short. The evolution that we need is a comic shop that's proper in the south of the UK. We don't have these, it's really difficult. It's very stressful. Not stressful, just disappointing. My local comic store, actually, they're very, very friendly people. Very friendly. I love them so much. But they just don't have lots of comics to check, So they are going to be brilliant when it comes to new releases, but not back issues. They have few, but it's like they're very small comic shops, so you cannot dig in the boxes. You have to tell them what you want, and then they will check if they have it for you. So it's kind of like the process is just not enjoyable. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And I have like a very funny story that happened just today. So I posted a book for sale. So it's a bit off topic, but the way that we do it in the UK is that when you want to buy something or sell something, we don't rely a lot on the comic book stores, especially in the south of the UK, because we don't have that great comic shops. But we use the Facebook pages for that. So there's like a Facebook page, say like comics for sale in the UK, something, you just post on it and then you buy or sell or whatever. So I posted one book for sale today, this afternoon, and someone claimed it, and he sent the money right away. And then when I asked him to send his address, he's my neighbor. He lives literally 10 minutes walk from me.
That saves you on shipping.
I was like, great.
This happened today?
Today. Yeah, this afternoon. So we had like a nice chat on the, Facebook, and then I was like, okay, this afternoon I will try to drop the book or something, meet somewhere, grocery store, and give it to him. But it didn't happen, so I'm going to give it to him tomorrow. But That was like something I just wanted to share. It's so random. And the fact that he knew who I am because he follows me on TikTok was
Oh
awesome.
wow.
That is remarkable. How did I miss all? I didn't know any of that happened. I didn't even know you were selling books today. I'll catch up when we're
I
off
just
the
posted
live.
on Facebook like randomly. I just
Oh,
posted a couple
Facebook.
books randomly. Yeah, on Facebook.
Are you on
So-
Facebook at all, Neo? I mean, not Neo. Manu?
Oh, that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Hey.
Sorry. I'm trying to get Neo to jump on the show, so that's why I'm thinking about him.
No, I'm not on Facebook.
I
I
didn't
can't
think so.
manage too many things. I don't
Well,
even
I
like
was
the
just
look of
saying.
Facebook.
Yeah, I was just saying in the UK, there because of Instagram being merely like all of the collectors or the majority of the collectors are in the US, so it's not easy to, target UK collectors. So the way that it works.
Oh,
Level up.
Hello,
Neo cards and comics in the house,
hello,
everybody.
Neo.
Hello. What's up,
And
everybody?
so the way that it works,
hello.
there is these Facebook selling pages, and you just post whatever you have for sale, and because it says UK on them, so you know that you're targeting UK collectors. So this is how it works now.
Love it.
But they're not the greatest. They don't work all the time. But today I got lucky, and it was a fun story to share.
That is awesome. Glad you moved a book and it was easy in the UK.
For
That's
one,
fantastic.
for one.
Neo, you're going to
That's
be our
cool.
pitch hitter because Naja is going to sign off whenever she gets ready. No rush, but
Why are
she
you
asked for us.
reminding her?
I told you I'm going to take care of her.
I don't have it long. I do have early.
No, you're good.
tomorrow,
Well,
but
look, I want to get your
hop on for
your
Steven.
thoughts on comic book shops. And I mean, we look in your background. We know you're a fan of comics, right?
Yeah.
And
I got the X-Men on display.
look at this, guys. It's just
Yeah.
beautiful.
He
Beautiful
goes for the
stuff.
big keys and he takes them down.
But what is, do you have any ideas of maybe how those shops should evolve? Card shops have been evolving. We've seen that. But what are your thoughts about comic book shops?
I don't have a lot of specific thoughts on comic shops because I buy mostly CGC graded books. I do all my reading on the iPad.
Mm-hmm.
But I mentioned it in chat. And Justin, you'll be familiar with this because you've been to like Atlanta Card Show and Dallas and stuff. Like, I was surprised at Charlotte when we went to Charlotte Comic Con that when the show ended, the show just kind of ended. But at a card show, as you're well aware, that's not when the show hours end. That is not the end of the show. Then
No.
the next
Yeah.
show starts.
Yeah.
Excuse me. To like midnight, 1, 2, 3 a.m. until they kick you out of a hotel lobby.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I know comic books aren't exactly the easiest to transport, so that probably puts a big hindrance in it. But at card shows, the trade night is as big as the card show in some cases, or a big draw, I guess I'll say. So I was surprised by the lack of trade nights and also just trading in general. I didn't see trading like on the show floor. Once again, this isn't shop related, but still, I think it would be, if nothing else, they're a fun social event, even if you don't make a single trade.
Well, the cons seem to be more like event focused, like on who's like, the artist or the author, those type of situations, not as much of the books themselves, where the card show is very much about the cards.
The card shows, go ahead, sorry.
I was just saying, the vibe that I got, because that was my first major Comic Con with Charlotte a month ago. There's definitely like 3 shows within a show. There's the comic books, the artists, and then like Artist Alley. Like there's like the key artists, like the big name guys, and then there's Artist Alley, and then there's like the comic book. So it's kind of like 3 shows in one, and I think everyone's kind of there for a different reason.
And I saw you in the chat. You said you were surprised at the lack of cameras, people going around making content.
Yeah, I mean, once again, Justin, you're well aware. You've been to a lot of the bigger card shows, like I have. Like that's to see a half a dozen people with full camera crews is not like out of place, especially at like Dallas or even Atlanta to a lesser extent. And with the
and in Atlanta, like we were at a restaurant, and somebody's like setting up a whole studio next to us. Remember?
Yeah. And I don't think I saw any of that. And you don't really see that type of content on YouTube either. Like card show vlog content is massive like that. There's huge channels that just travel to card shows, and you just don't see that on the comic book side at all. At least not that I'm seeing. Maybe it exists.
No,
the algo's just not throwing it in my face.
No, you're right. I mean, maybe it does exist to some extent, but what you're saying is absolutely accurate. And it's not like I go to card shows or even cons for that matter, but I consume things on YouTube. And it's
Mhm.
so very clear that the energy surrounding the hobby of sports cards specifically, I'm not just going to say all of cards right now. Like,
Mhm.
I mean, all of cards, let's just call it all of cards, but it all started from like the energy surrounding sports cards, that the transactability, the excitement, even just the idea of it being like, I mean, not to say this in a negative connotation, because I don't take it in a negative connotation or mean it that way, but like the liquid exchange of an asset of value when it's about cards, it's almost like just trading a foreign currency for an American dollar. Like it's really just looked at like the exchange of value. It's so much more transactable, and I think the size has something to do with it, but I can't put my finger on it, but that energy just lives more in cards than it does in comic books. Like comic books have this sort of like closed off sort of feel. Like when you're talking about a con, it's been a long time since I've been to one, but what you said is so right. After the show's over, people pack up and
Mhm.
go home. But for sports cards, let's get our briefcase or whatever our cards are in. Let's go have a ball. Let's go make some deals. Let's talk cards. Let's make some money. Let's sell. Let's buy. That
Mhm.
energy is not in the comic book space. And I think, yes, maybe the size of the book has a lot to do with it. Maybe the nuances and different sorts of books. I'm really not sure, but there is a lot of energy that certainly does not overlap. And I would like to see that change actually. And then also what you guys just said about when you go to a Comic Con, it's like 3 shows in one. And Comic Cons are so much this corporate branding opportunity. Here's the movies coming out, here's the shows coming out, here's the toys, and here's the cosplay. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but that's what it is. And when I look at a sports card show, even if you're looking at the national on YouTube, man, it's picnic tables full of cards. Ain't nothing pretty there. The energy is why you're there. The cards are why you're there. The passion is why you're there. I would not be upset if comic
Yeah.
book shows took that approach at some point in time too. Like I think that's dope.
Well,
I mean,
cards
I think
give
if you
you.
get out of, oh, sorry, Justin, if you get out of San Diego and New York Comic Con, I think most, like Charlotte was about the comic books. I mean, there was 3
What?
shows in one, but it
Okay.
wasn't like there was panels per se. But I think New York and San Diego are different beasts specifically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. That makes
So
you're right. Yep, that makes sense.
yeah, Charles. So this is what I'm going to say, but I'm pointing out Charles's comments. In sports or these card shows, you get pack breaks, box breaks, which as a gambling atmosphere, you don't get that in comics. You don't get that
True.
big moment, big hit. Where we're
Oh, so
basically
true.
introducing new product in the moment by ripping a pack in the middle of the
So
show.
true. Such
Comics
a
are also
great
more
point.
collector focused. You know what I mean? Like people get stuff in their hand. Not saying that sports cards, obviously sports cards were built on collectors and people's collections as well, but
Mhm.
comic books go into people's collections and then never leave. Like it's not, I think there's like and I know because I've seen this on other people's content that I watch. Like if all of a sudden you sell, like I've seen other YouTubers like sell a comic book and all of a sudden they get like backlash. Like, how dare
Yeah.
you? You bought a comic book and then you sold it for 20% more than what you bought it for. You need like 8 Hail Marys or you're going straight to hell tomorrow.
Right.
And on cards, you'd be like championed. You'd be like, yes. You
That-
you
there's that
climbed the
difference.
mountain. Congratulations. And on the comic book side,
Unless
I
it's a
see a
Marvel
lot of
card.
people
You're not
get
supposed to sell a
lot of
Marvel
heat.
card. So let's just be clear on that.
Nah, but yeah, Neo, that's absolutely right. Like that's how I don't know the right words for it, but that's the energy, right? Like you sell a card and you did what you're supposed to do. You made a killing on the card. How smart. You sell a comic book, you're a flipper. You're this bad person. And it's not across the board, but those differences definitely exist. And comic books are heavier on that side, where cards in general are uplifted on that side. You're right. You're
Well,
super right.
in trading cards, sports cards specifically, it's you're supposed to have your investments and then your PCs, and they're separate for the most part. But in comics, it's like just all PC.
I mean,
I feel like that
yeah, some people
mentality is
look at it
shifting
that
now,
way.
though.
It's completely shifting, man. Dinosaurs go extinct. Okay, they don't last forever.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, you scroll through a YouTube feed, every other video is like top 5 spec books to go buy now.
All right, so
that's
Neil,
getting really irritating too, though. Like, oh, I'm done with that stuff.
All
Get
right.
out of here.
So I'm on the I'm watching Neo last night, and someone has a comment. They're like, I just look at YouTube thumbnails to know what the market's doing, and I died. That was the funniest comment.
That's
The red
who
arrows or
said
green
that?
arrows?
I don't
Oh,
know.
It
But
was just I
stop
forget who
it,
it was.
man.
Someone in chat made that comment. They're like, I could
So
just
that
scroll through a category and look at thumbnails to figure out.
so that means there's individuals making their investment decisions based on how many thumbnails are face palms or this. Like
Pretty much.
it's like, stop it, guys. Stop it. Ugh.
oh, it was
They're not
hilarious.
wrong though. They're not wrong.
That was
Oh,
funny. I
man.
love it. But at the same time, should you make your investment decisions based on how many, icons have the up chart sign? Yeah.
No,
No.
definitely
No,
not.
yeah, but just one or the other. I mean, like top line information is just not enough information. If you watch enough of these YouTube channels, especially focused around comic books, one
Mhm.
week the same 5 books are down, the next week the same 5 books are up. Well, if you look at anything on a week by week basis, you're not an investor. You're just somebody frantic deciding where to make 50 bucks here and there. That's if you look at something long term, you're going to likely win if you make a reasonable decision. It doesn't matter how many YouTube videos every 3 days change about the arrows.
Mhm.
Anyway, sorry, I apologize, guys.
There's a lot of days in the
Just
week you gotta
saying,
fill it with
listen to
content.
Manu. That's true. That's exactly right. Because these charts don't tell you anything. They just tell you how many people bought that book this week. And sometimes the charts are about like, oh, that book had like 10% increase, which means 4 books were sold this week.
Oh,
That's
that
the
is so annoying
10%
when they say
increase.
that. You're so right. When they say like 1,000% increase, right? Because last month 1 sold and this month 10 sold. Oh my
Exactly.
gosh. But to somebody that's consuming that information, that's not thinking about it critically, 1,000% increase. I gotta go buy this book. That's going to be half the price next week now. It's like wild.
Yeah, it's all in context. But I mean,
Yeah.
I'll play devil's advocate because I do use charts and graphs a lot on the sports card
Yeah.
side and on
Yeah.
comic books. And they can really help you make, if you know what you're doing with them, you can make what's the word I'm looking for? Smarter
Mhm.
buying decisions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You can get in good.
Like if like I bought the X-Men 4 at Charlotte Comic-Con and I specifically targeted that book there because you could see it had its huge run up prior to Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, and it had come way back down again. And like you could look and see like, okay, cool. The prices for like a 4-ish in that book are now back to what they were before it ever got run up. So I feel, you never know if you're buying at the bottom or not, but I feel like I'm at least making a smart buying decision and not buying at the absolute peak. It might seem common sense for some people, but there's definitely uses for them. But they could also be just like anything.
Mhm.
Numbers can be twisted to show whatever you want it to show.
Liars
Exactly.
figure and figures lie. That's just the
Yes.
truth.
Yes. Don't trust all of the numbers.
Yeah.
And then there is this kind of like when you are investing in a book, and especially if it's like something when like recently released, let's say this year, like the 1 billion genies.
Mhm.
So now like everybody wants to get these books, right?
Mhm.
Which I
Andrew.
sorry.
Sorry. Carrie, I apologize.
No, I mean, I get it. The book series been auctioned. Amazon is going to do it, etc., etc. But is it enough reason to go and grab all of the copies that you can of this first appearance of this in this book without reading it, without knowing what it's about? Because it's going to drop. It's going to drop even before the trailer, and it's going to be just another, hype. So just buy the things that you like, the things that you love, the things that nobody told you go and get this before it's too late.
Mhm.
That's my advice. It's
And
very
that
important.
is fantastic advice. And that advice coming from a place of a heartfelt collector, collecting for your collection, right? And
Exactly.
obviously, it feels great to end up with equity in what you own. That obviously feels terrific. No one is going to say, "Oh, I spent $3,000 on this book and now it's worth 5. I don't care." You are absolutely happy that there's equity there. That feels better than spending 5,000 and now you couldn't get rid of it should you choose to for less than 3. And when Neil is discussing the charts that he's using to effectively make wiser decisions with the sort of purchases he's making, I agree with that completely. And the criticisms are nuanced as well. Like if I go on a rant and say these charts are nonsense, well, I might be just ranting about books that came out 6 months ago and they're $100 books fluctuating $30 in either direction. But when you're talking about those big keys, Neo, I do not disagree with you whatsoever. And you're absolutely right, because I watch those charts as well. Like when you're talking about a book that's going from $15,000 now selling for 7.5, you want that information. And that's legitimately what we've seen happen in the last year and a half. Books got run up from 2,000 to 10,000, bigger than we've ever seen. They haven't settled back down to the pre-pandemic prices, some of them, but they're at a place where you're going to want to buy them now rather than a year and a half ago. And without those charts, you might not know that. So totally agree. Nuances even to my ranting, but I am completely on board with everything you guys have said.
So Marvelous Facts asked this question: what is long term to you?
Oh, to me, years. I really don't know how to quantify it. You know, there's certain things that I wouldn't mind paying a couple $100 more for than I knew I could have, or if I was more opportunistic, if I was planning on holding them for 5 years to a decade, a couple of decades, or no plans on selling, you know, and I just have like a gut feeling that over time, the money is fine there. You know, it's like, it's better than money under a mattress. If I do decide to liquidate, I'll probably get more for it. But I really actually don't, I haven't necessarily made decisions based on stuff like that, but the reason for that is because of the sort of stuff that I hunt, buy, and create. And by create, I mean the sort of things that I grade. Like, you know, not to just say something. First of all, hello, Andrew. Hello, Johnny. Johnny, we had a lot of nice things to say about you earlier today. You'll catch it on the replay. Um, I've been really fortunate in that almost everything in my collection has a great deal of equity in it. And that's from things that my amount into them. And this is, I'm only saying this for context because this is important and very closely related to my opinion. This context is important. Context is important. Otherwise, I might not say this. There are books that I have $500 in and they're $10,000 books. Those things didn't happen based on my opinion on timeline, so on and so forth. That's because I found amazing opportunities, developed amazing relationships, bought bundles of books uncirculated raw, and they graded 9/8. And these are books that I have dozens of that nobody even has one of. I said the other day, I like to have many of what somebody has. I like to have many of what some people don't have any of. And that doesn't mean that it's not rare. That means I have an extreme focus on what I love and what I do and what my goals are. And anything that's in my collection is typically free, meaning I'll have 10, I'll grade a bunch of 9.8s, I'll sell them all at whatever price I think is great. I'll make profit. I'll have no investment in what's left over, and I'll decide if I want to keep those or not. So I don't really have an idea of timeline because the way that I go about enhancing my collection, adding to it, curating it is not what the average person or the typical collector is doing. A lot of people are watching the market to buy below market. I don't even like buying below market unless it's something that's a couple $100 and I'm like, yeah, I don't care if I pay $300 for that, $250 for it, or $400 for it. I just want it. But anything that costs thousands and thousands of dollars, I didn't buy that. I made that, you know, and I don't care how long I keep it because I'm already in the black. I can sell it. The market could go down 50% and I'm still going to profit on it because of how it entered my collection. So it's a unique perspective that I have on my collecting, my buying and selling. So I don't have a clean answer to what long-term is to me because it could be I just don't have an answer for that. But I am happy that I was able to get all of that off because I think that will provide context when somebody doesn't quite agree with what I'm saying. It's important to recognize that I'm saying it from a very different space.
Mm-hmm. Well, you have a good eye, and that's an advantage that you have, and you trust that eye. Not everybody has that.
I will say that's true as well. Mm-hmm. And it's actually been really surprising to me to learn that, right? Like how, you know, I've always been this person that's made my life difficult by being so focused on details. I've told you this before, Justin. I used to be a car person. I used to like black cars, but I could never enjoy owning them because if anyone knows anything about paint and maintaining a black car, like it's a very difficult, tedious process. You're going to spend, you know, thousands of dollars correcting paint if ever something happens, if you can't sleep at night knowing there's hairline scratches on it. And I wasn't able to enjoy owning these things. So this sort of personality of mine actually made life less enjoyable and made it kind of annoying for the people around me as well. Because, you know, I would literally tell my guests, you can't sit in that car with those buttons on the back pocket of those jeans, you know, and that's just silly. But that same me in this world, I didn't realize how much of an asset it was to be so psychopathic in the world of, you know, the small details. And it was incredibly eye-opening for me to realize that there are so many people around me in this same hobby that don't have that eye, that don't see the ticks, that can't tell that corner is not going to 9-8. It's like, wow.
Like
You
I've always
know?
said, I've never seen a Marvel card that I don't like. You know, they're all PSA 10 to me. Like I don't have that kind of eye. But yeah, you certainly do, and I think that's an advantage. Hey Neil, I got a question for you. Do you watch the Marvel movies by chance? We know Manu does.
I'm current on all MCU related content.
Where
shows
are
and
you?
movies.
Where are you with Phase 4, and how do you think it's impacting the hobby?
I think Phase 4 is a little all over the place, but I don't think that's by Disney's choice.
What do you mean?
I think they got thrown a curveball by COVID, and I think they got thrown a curveball by all of a sudden having the X-Men and Fantastic Four coming midstream.
Meaning they got
kind of like
they had to buy the license, and when they
or
had the
as
chance.
in like, hey, we don't have this, and then all of a sudden you guys have all these new toys in the toolbox, figure it out, and then everyone immediately wanted X-Men and Fantastic Four and everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
no, I'm with you.
But between, because COVID really messed up their release schedule in a lot of different ways. It really screwed Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness because they had to completely redo that entire movie because it was supposed to come out before Spider-Man No Way Home, and then Sony basically was like, nah, we're not moving. So then they had to redo that large portions of that entire movie to adapt it to the fact that it was coming after Spider-Man No Way Home. You know what I mean? So there's just been so many things kind of stacked against them, so I'm willing to cut them slack. Has Phase 4 been great? No, but like there's been tons of enjoyable stuff out of it. You know what I mean? Like Loki's fantastic. I really enjoyed Miss Marvel. Some of the shows have been better than the TV stuff. You know what I mean?
Agreed. Now I saw IGN put this out, so I'm assuming it's true. Let's see if I can get to focus. And it basically says, I don't know if it's gonna.
Oh, is that the number of pieces of content in each phase?
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So 6 films, 11 films. This one we have so far 6 films and 7 shows. So we got 49 almost 50 hours of content versus Phase 3, which had 25 hours of content. And I think what people are doing when they look at that, they go, okay, well, that much content, but we really haven't moved the narrative forward, almost at all, really.
Yeah, and like I think that gets back to like, hey, we didn't know X-Men were coming, so now all of a sudden we need to try to figure out a way to work them in, and you got to kind of move the goalposts a little bit on that stuff. In addition to the fact that, like, I mean, you lost Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans, so you need to like reset the playing field.
What's with Chris Evans wanting to play bad guys all of a sudden?
I think actors have more fun playing bad guys.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, bad guys are dope, dude. The villains are super dope.
Oh, in fact,
Christian Bale was the best part of Thor.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying Christian Bale was the best part of Thor.
Well, Christian Bale had a quote about Chris Evans. I think I shared it on IG, but he was talking about how easy it is to be a bad guy and how hard it is from an acting standpoint to play the role of a good guy. But it had a pretty good, life lesson in his comment. I can't remember exactly what it said, but to your point, I think they enjoyed that more and it's easier.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what that's about. Charles says, Phase 4 equals wokeness. I hear that a lot. And, at the end of the day, it's about storytelling, and you got to tell a good story, and that's how you move things forward. So, but I wanted your thoughts on that. I haven't seen the last episode.
I think we have a better idea what things look like in probably 72 hours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Neil, I want to. Who are you saying hello to?
I was just going to say maybe I should go because first I am boiling. It's so warm in this room, and the second thing, it's too late.
Thank you so much for being with us, Naj. Thank you.
And I have a third reason. I'm not sure I should mention it, but it's mainly that I am not going to answer and tell you about my MCU because it's not it's not as bad as the 9.9 Newsstand MCU, but it's almost there.
I'm with you. All right, Naj, it was wonderful to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me, and
so
nice
great.
to see you and catching up, guys. And I will be probably in the chat, but
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I'll try to stay 4 or 5 more hours, but
Okay, sounds good. Take care.
thanks again. Bye.
Awesome. That was good that you was on. Let's see. I'm gonna rearrange
That
mine
was
here.
that was
There we
super awesome. Hey, Neo, I'm not gonna open up the whole can of worms here. We've got other can of worms already open. I just want to ask a simple question. Well, it's not a simple question, but I want your answer, right? Whatever your opinion is, but in this very, very focused subcategory of the larger newsstand conversation. Amazing Spider-Man 300. First of all, do you own a copy of Amazing Spider-Man 300?
I have a 9.6.
Okay, fantastic. So you are a supporter of the book. You love the book. I wanted to get that out of the way. I'm assuming it's a direct because of what you said earlier. So the question is, a 9.8, maybe my prices are off a little bit, but just to loosely say, a 9.8 direct right now, $5,000, right? Let's just call it that.
Yeah, I think it would take.
Right? And the doozy, the 9.8 newsstand, $20,000, right? So the last few sales of that book that I remember were above $20,000. I don't know if recently anything has shifted in any direction, but there was a point in time where they were comfortably $20,000 newsstands and $5,000 9.8. So I'm just going to use that scenario. From your perspective, not being a newsstand guy, what does that feel like to you? What does that sound like to you when you see that disparity in price? Where does that sit with you? And that's it. I guess that's the question. Yeah. What's your take on that?
So my whole thing with the newsstand thing is if it's so damn important, why isn't it tracked on the CGC census? I don't like the idea that you just don't know how many are out there.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Like if they're so, powerful and holy and untouchable and so important, why are they not tracked? And I know it's probably like a legacy thing or something like that, but like, if you didn't start it right from the beginning, it's probably impossible to play catch up. But
yeah,
it just feels like there's more mystique around it, and I don't know that I want to take a $20K gamble on something that I don't know how many of them actually exist.
right. That's I mean, I want to say,
and I'm looking
but
at
I
it from the
want you to
sports
carry.
card side, where like pop count, census, rarity, scarcity, all that stuff really matters and is for the most part pretty transparent. And then now all of a sudden they throw the newsstand thing in there where it's like, maybe there's 5, maybe there's 100, maybe it's 10%. And then there's the whole
Yeah.
thing of like, well, if it's after 19 whatever, newsstands are actually more common than the directs and that whole nonsense too. Like there's just a lot of shenanigans around newsstands.
There is a lot of nuance to it, indeed. I want to say, and what you said isn't like, I get your perspective, right? So that's comforting for me, for you to have an opinion, but backed up by like a reasonable perspective. Like I get all of that, right? Now, obviously, I'm on the other side of the conversation, but I respect what you're saying in terms of CGC acknowledging them. Yeah, man, like you said, going backwards and figuring it out, they're not going to be able to, but there are some newsstands that they definitely do break out and it says newsstand on the label. But the reason they do those ones is not in support of the larger newsstand movement or what have you. It's because they're actually manufactured differently. So when a newsstand comic book has a different quality interior paper or exterior paper, or has a different price, those are the 3 examples we'll just use. There's other ones too, but if a newsstand is manufactured differently or sold at a different price point, then CGC does actually categorize it as a completely different book. So like, for instance, you'll pull up, I always use the same book as an example because it's always top of mind, Spawn #9 newsstand versus Spawn #1. There's no manufacturing difference in Spawn 1, so they're not separated, and we have to deal with that mystique, but I'm going to address that in a second as well. But with Spawn #9, they're separated because the newsstand is actually manufactured differently. It doesn't have the interior poster in it, which a very, very small few, this is a rare thing, have, but 99.9% of them don't have the poster. They're printed with a newspaper print paper, this recycled texture paper. And so CGC does acknowledge it at a different book. And there are far fewer of them on the census. And just, if you search eBay or you go to a con or anything, just far fewer. And so that has, sometimes a times 10 multiple applied to that particular book. That's kind of an outstanding sort of example. But CGC does break them out when there's differences. But in terms of us getting that sort of love for a newsstand, CGC breaking them out, I don't know if they will. And part of the reason for that is because back when CGC started grading, newsstands weren't a thing. Like collectors hadn't brought up this idea of the more scarce form of this book and then associated the reasoning. Now, the reasoning all makes sense in terms of them being neglected, less desirable than the ones that had the additional piece of art. Like, all of that's quite reasonable. And we understand why they're harder to find in higher grade currently. And then to break down the part about, some years there were more and some years there weren't. Well, that's absolutely fact. And you're right. That does add a little layer of complication. But you could simplify that complication by just remaining in a pocket that you might focus on. Like, if you're an ultra modern newsstand, there's no way, there's no way to not realize how rare they are. Ultra modern meaning like 2007 to 2013, which I just recently found out that there are Marvel newsstands from 2013. I've always said that Marvel newsstand stopped in 2011, and that's like something that you can Google, but no, there are 2013 Marvel newsstands. Tim, the newsstand collector, just graded a couple of things from 2013, and they're definitely newsstands. So it actually stopped in 13. Imagine how rare those are. And the difference for that is, well, because it just newsstand distribution for comic books had just stopped, and that's just that. Like, bookstores started to close down everywhere, and things changed, right? So newsstand distribution changed. So CGC going back and acknowledging them, no, and us having to do like a bunch of work to figure out which ones are really rare, yes, but it's so easy to determine that, because when you go on eBay and you search for Amazing Spider-Man 300s, the reason you don't see any high grade newsstands up there in the 9.8s and 9.6s, far fewer than the directs, is not because people are hiding them to keep this conspiracy alive. It's because there are actually far fewer of them that survived in that grade. So even though we don't know the exact number, it's still very easy to recognize which ones are more rare in a newsstand. But if you go look at a book like A Secret Wars 8, there's so many newsstands versus directs. It's kind of like this weird balance. But again, in the high grades, it still reflects that the 9.8 newsstands are fewer. And then the other thing that I wanted to mention about, creating, I made little notes while you were talking because I didn't want to interrupt you. And then like creating the mystique around it, and so on and so forth. Yeah, there was a mystique created around it, but the mystique was birthed for these reasons that we're talking about right now. But then another thing that's interesting, well, this doesn't actually fall into line, because I was going to bring up Mark Jeweller's inserts. And Mark Jeweller's inserts, they have a life of their own. They're only in newsstands, so that is a thing, but they were only sold on military bases with that jewelry advertisement in the center. But the reason I can't use that as a clean example of like something more scarce and more rare because of it in high grade is because CGC does acknowledge, oh no, I take that back. I can't use it as an example. CGC puts it on the label. If it's a Mark Jewelers, they acknowledge it. They write it on the label, but they do not break it out in the census. We don't know how many Mark Jewelers 316s exist. The only way we know that is because as collectors, we can't find them. That's how we know that they're rare, but yeah, those aren't broken out either. But I don't think anyone would make the argument that that's not a real thing, that's not a cooler place to collect. The Mark Jewelers only sold in a select few places, and in a military base, how many of those survived in high grade, So in any case, I love that you answered that question for me. Thank you. And your answer is not something that I don't agree with, because I get it. But part of me, my long-winded thing afterwards that I'm still saying is obviously a not so well masked attempt to bring you on over here. Like, just it's a good thing.
Is that if I'm going to spend 20 grand on an ASM 300 in a 9.8, I would rather just buy the direct and then have 15 grand to go buy other stuff.
I love it, man. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at that
I
at
could get
all.
an ASM 300, an X-Men 101, in a CGC 9.8, an X-Men 129, and like an ASM 129, all in pretty good grades for the same price as one ASM 300 newsstand.
Yeah, no, I'm not mad at you. And you're talking about the sort of books where the pride and ownership of those, regardless, you're talking about
Yeah, I'm not an ultra modern guy. I don't chase, other than Spider-Gwen variant covers that suck me in, which I'm sure Justin can relate. I do not really own anything past Ultimate Fallout 4.
Dude, you're a Spider-Gwen variant cover collector?
Not like crazily, but I get conned into them every so often. I'm like, I need that. Like,
I don't remember seeing them.
I matched it to the tier 5.
Yeah.
I bought the variant of the reprint, I guess it is.
What an amazing card, by the way.
Yeah, I
That's
think I was pop 1 on this for a while.
Yeah, I mean that's tier 5 of 6 if I remember correctly, and
Yeah,
it's
I
a
bought this
PSA
raw on
10.
ComC too.
Beautiful.
But
Where's
I
the
recently bought the CGC 9.8 to pair with this to display them together, and I
I
have the
love
Bradshaw
that.
variant that you have in your hand right there.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna
I
say.
have
Like I
that.
just recently, yeah,
Yep,
right.
I have that.
It's such a good looking book. See,
Yeah.
these are the kind of books that, again, like you pick them up $200, $300.
Yeah. I get
Because
conned into them all the time because they're only 100 or 200 bucks.
yeah, I love this thing. And I got
I'm
this at
trying.
an auction
Half my
recently,
eBay safe search
181.
list is.
You know that's on a trading card, Manu.
books.
That image is
I
on a
know
trading
it's
card.
on your PMG. It's on your. It's on
Yeah.
the. It's on the PMG.
Right.
Absolutely. Look
There
at
you go.
that. Look at that. Yes, very cool. Into it, big time. Okay, that's cool. And the reason I emphasize, like, wait, you do collect those is because I don't remember ever seeing any Spider-Gwen modern stuff like on your Instagram page. I might have missed it, but I do not remember seeing it.
I don't post a lot of that stuff.
Got it.
Mhm.
I don't have a ton. I have like the Bradshaw variant. I have one of the Peach Momoko ones from a while ago. I've been looking at a lot of the Gwenniverse stuff that's recently popped up that looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what other ones I have. I don't remember. I have a whole like one section of one of my CGC binges is that because most of 99.9% of the comic books that I buy, I'm buying them more as to go back to the long-term, short-term conversation. I'm buying them more as I am not planning on selling these anytime soon. That's why, when you like look behind me, usually on display is X-Men blue chip keys, Spider-Man blue chip keys, first appearance of Black Panther, Fantastic Four keys, stuff like that. Mostly X-Men and Spider-Man stuff, but I don't really. The two most modern book investment level books that I own is Edge of Spider-Verse 2 and Ultimate Fallout 4 second print in 9/8. That's it.
Okay, great. Edge of Spider-Verse 2. I always screw this up. Which one is that again?
Spider-Gwen.
First Gwen.
The first Gwen. Okay, that's the one that we were talking about most recently. Justin, you and I, we had some discussion about that book. You own that book.
I own the Greg Land variant at an
Right.
outlet.
Oh, and
Yeah,
okay, got it. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not a big I know a lot of people invest a lot of money in the modern variants, like 1 in 100, 1 in 1,000s, and all that. And like I get it, but that just feels like artificial scarcity.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I would rather just buy another copy of X-Men 4 or Giant Size X-Men 1 or Hulk 181 or ASM, whatever.
You are not wrong. The fickle nature of buying into a modern book with manufactured scarcity, the how quickly the rug can be pulled out from beneath you. I don't think you want to be. I'm not even that risk adverse, but I'm quite adverse to some of the risk that's been taking place in the last year with some of the modern variants.
I have a question then.
Yeah.
Because I understand like the position now, right? Like I get like based on all the information we have together now, what that means. What is the market going to look? How are they going to look at it 20 years from now as they're deciphering all that happened? Like example, we'll just use Newsstand. No one had a clue what might happen with Newsstand in the midst of it, right? No one, literally no one.
No one. No.
So 20 years from now, how are they going to go back and look at it? And I have a thought. I don't know if it's right, but one of the things you are starting to see with the modern variant with the exclusives is you are starting to get some hard numbering, some actual numbering of the books. And I'm curious if that's going to play a role in how people interpret what they want and what they're willing to put more money into. To your point, pride of ownership. I think that the reason newsstands are really expensive is because there's enough few high dollar buyers who want to be able to show that they've got something that's more rare than the other person. And so they're willing to spend more money for it. Like that's ultimately kind of what it is, right? So what is that going to be in the future as they look at some of the first appearances, these important books that are coming out now post, say 2013, to use your date of the newsstand? Could it be some of these rare, more exclusive, hard number variants?
It could be, but that's the simple answer. It could be, right? But the thing is, we're valuating these books like tech stocks. Okay, like if we're going to now start trading them because of what could be 20 years from now, in the meantime, you can lose all of that value in that sort of speculation.
Well, so right now I have before me, I've already made this decision. I could buy I could buy the first appearance of Mando for like, I don't know, $10, or for $80, I can get the store exclusive. It was an easy decision for me because the store exclusive is got a 1 in 400 and a 1 in 800 limited copy. To me, that's not risk. Now, a year from now, if the book is $600, to me, that's what you're. I think that's what you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking.
Yeah,
I'm
I think we're talking about kind of two different things. It depends on what your entry point is. You know, if you're getting in sub $100, that's one thing. If you're going buying a premium priced, already ultra modern variant, but you know, I think that's what we're saying.
The conversation I'm having.
Would not be doing.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Because then it's like a real decision. Like, are you going to go spend $1,000 on? And I don't know. I don't even know ultra modern variants hardly at all. So I can't even throw one out there. But let's just say a $1,500 ultra modern variant, or would you rather what? To your point, Justin, you could be 100% correct. That could be a $10,000 book in 50 years. We don't know. But what has a better chance to retain value? A random $1,500 ultra modern variant, or ASM 252 and a CGC 98 for like the same price?
Yep.
Like maybe ASM 252 doesn't 1,000%, but I think that has a much higher floor than the and I keep pointing behind me because that's the book.
Because you got it. No, we
Right.
get it. Look, we got Manu here. Manu's always like, "Let me grab it." You know?
All my books are upstairs. The only ones I keep down here is what's on display.
Well, here's my little principle.
But to your point, though, Justin, I do agree. Though, if you're looking at Mando, I mean, it all comes to, and I mean, some people $80 might be a lot.
Sure.
But in that case, it's just like, you know, for me personally, I would just be like, well, I'll just buy them both. You know, if you're talking $80 and $10, like I'll just get both. Like,
and I'm not trying to turn anybody off by saying that, because like you said, you know, $80 is still $80, but when you're making a decision to buy 2 books for $100, like who cares if you lose 50 in the long term or the short term, you know, like buy your books. But I get it. That's a little insensitive to say, but yes, Neo, you're right. That is what I'm talking about. And I'm not trying to be insensitive. I am talking about the higher dollar, you know, the decisions you have to be like, well, if I buy this book, you know, I got to move some stuff around to make it happen. Those kind of decisions.
So let me, I guess I'll kind of answer my own question here. I really don't know. I'm a little sketchy on timelines because I don't follow ultra modern Marvel too much. Outside of Gwen and Miles, how many significant characters have come out since those two?
Justin, take it. Justin, go.
Well, significant, none would be my answer.
Or soon to be significant, because I think like Ironheart probably came out after that.
But then you have Ironheart, then you have
the Young Avengers come out after.
The Young Avengers that came after that. So you have those, but I can't, like, those are pure speculation.
And those are going to be the two that I was going to throw out there as, you know, Young Avengers and Ironheart are probably the next two.
We got to go ahead. Talk about Miss Marvel. I forgot.
Yeah. No,
Gore,
Jeremy, what's up? Hi, Jeremy. Yeah, we got the Nolan.
Gore, but you got to be careful with villains. No, I get it. Villains.
Did Miss Marvel come out
after Miles? Yeah.
I don't know. See, that's the thing. I get sketchy on timelines.
See,
Neil,
I'm
the guy that rereads X-Men, like the Claremont run, like once or twice.
They're all in the same era, but I'm a huge Blue Marvel fan. I know I'm probably the only one here, and who, by the way, has been cast. So maybe that was a spoiler, but whatever.
So Ultimate Fallout 4 came out what, 2012, 2009, 2009. So that's in
no, Fallout 4 is 2011.
2011. Okay. Blue Marvel came out 2009.
So in a decade, you've had maybe 3 I would definitely say Miss Marvel, Ironheart, and Young Avengers as a group. So
it's like tier 2. Yeah. Or tier 1 is, well, tier 1's Miles.
Yeah, I'm saying post Miles, post Gwen.
Okay. Got you.
That's King and Queen accepted, you know?
Yeah, they're the king and queen of modern. I hate your guys' comic book breakdowns because ultra modern is like 30 years and it doesn't make any damn sense to me.
It doesn't make any. We need to rename this.
To me, ultra modern should be post Miles and Gwen.
Yeah, man, I'm with you.
And
that's a decade.
Should be like post Jim Lee X-Men up into Miles and Gwen, and then I don't know what the 90s needs to be its own thing.
Do you?
I do not disagree with you, man. Calling 40 years modern is absurd.
Yeah, we need to
make videos. I even make up my own shit. And oops, sorry, I don't know if you guys let people swear on here or not.
No, I try not to for sure.
I even say like I consider anything post Miles ultra modern, which I usually don't, because I usually don't touch anything post Miles. I would like to pick up a Young Avengers #1 on a CGC
Okay.
9.8 because I do think that that's an important book.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Marvel, isn't the problem there is that she has like 16 first appearances and like there's big massive arguments about which one actually is the true first appearance.
Right.
I don't know. Is
And
that
she has
true? I didn't
variants.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of these
Hey.
have variants. Oh, Silk. Hey, so Silk is a little bit of a to be determined, but
Yeah.
the fact that she
Yeah.
is Korean and there's a big base of fans there and she's sick as heck, like she's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
Silk's a big TBD. That's another one that I don't have as a first appearance is Silk.
Her covers and okay, but
It's weak.
The interiors. If you get a chance to check out the interior pages
And that's
Silk.
another one that has a variant cover that sells for a lot. Not a
Mhm.
lot, but like more.
Yeah,
I want to
it-
see
it's
it. Which
cool.
one are we talking about? I'm gonna
Silk's
Google.
variant is so her suit in the first full appearance. Well, it's
What is
all
that?
it's the
Amazing
same thing.
Spider-Man 14?
I don't
Or-
remember. She uses her silk to make her costume, so it's web. Her costume is web.
I love that. Did you guys see the new cover that that In-hyuk Lee did? Oh, it's so stunning where she's spinning her whole outfit out of it's just a stunning cover.
Yeah, it really is cool. I'm excited in Spider-Man Metal to see how are they going to, we know what the low series looks like if the sell sheet is correct, and it's amazing. But what is that high series going to look like? Is it going to be the silk outfit, like made out of silk?
Hey, Neil, how many I mean, I don't know if you talk about this stuff publicly or not, but I'm sure you got pre-orders in for Spidey Metal. Where are you in the world of that? Like, are you
I have
ripping
4
them? Are you
boxes.
holding them? And are you going to open them or
I
what's your
don't know
plan?
yet. I'll open
Okay.
at least 1 or 2 for just the content of it.
Cool.
I'm not usually a sit on sealed wax kind of guy. I don't have the mental fortitude for it. It just sits
Yeah, I
back
hear
there and I just look at it and then I get bored one day.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just go live rip a box of Spider-Man Metal. Oh God, what have I done? But I got in super cheap. Like,
Please
I
call
think
me when you do.
my pre-order prices are only like $200 a box.
Yeah.
Man, you
so-
guys are killing it. Dang. All right.
But I only got
Cool.
4, so I kind
Oh.
of screwed that up a little bit. Now, Fleer Ultra Avengers, I think I bought. What was the cap on that, Justin? Was it
6.
5 or 6? So I bought 6. So I have 6 boxes of that at like the
Neo,
$295 price point or whatever it was.
You need to go buy a couple of boxes of Marvel Allure.
I'm not big on MCU products.
I know, but it's $230. I think I think people are going to wish they did, but
I have 5
whatever.
boxes of Marvel Beginnings pre-ordered too, I think.
You
And I
see-
got
you see
in
what
real
just-
cheap on those. I think I got those for like $125 or something
Mhm.
stupid.
See that what Justin just did, because Neil, you're so much into cards, like that might actually translate. You might actually, that seed has been planted, and you might actually be like, he did say so. Like, you don't even care about the cards, you don't want them, but Justin was just like, it's only $230. You're gonna wish you did. And you coming from the sports card world where it's so like accepted to be like, well, I should get this. 'Cause I'm gonna sell it for more later. I don't know. Maybe you'll be thinking about it.
I
now.
would just rather buy more Fleer Ultra Avenger boxes than Allure
Gotcha.
boxes if I was.
but it's
gonna do that.
$100 more right now for the
Yeah,
Avengers.
but still,
And-
like if I'm gonna go, like I'm gonna go just buy 1 box of Allure, Justin. Come on.
Okay, I got you. I hear you.
Come
I just
on.
think, I just
Or
think,
that could be money that I could buy boxes of Spider-Man Metal on e-pack with.
right.
you know what I
No,
mean?
you're not wrong. It's just like 200 like any Marvel product, 200 new is like the new $100 box. Sadly, but
I
that's
also
true.
am interested to see. I think it's gonna have less of an impact on Metal,
Mhm.
but I think the retail component of Allure will hurt the box prices on that because it's not as hot of a product.
Is it going to be in retail? I don't think I remember that.
I thought that it was. I'm pretty sure.
How are they going to do that with autos and numbered cards?
But probably they probably won't have autos or number cards. It'll probably just be base and parallels.
Gotcha.
Just like Metal.
Yeah.
Like Metal has certain things that are in it and certain things that aren't.
Yeah, I need to check into that. I hadn't thought about that. That's true. I do want
I'm
to get
pretty
to
sure Allure's gonna have it. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong on that, but I thought on the Marvel Card podcast that they when they had Upper Deck on at one point in time they said that.
I'll double check. I have my notes somewhere. I may just not remember. So Keith says, Justin, stop favoring Spidey characters. No love for Hope. I think he's talking about Hope Summers, but I don't remember her. I think
I
that's
feel
what
like
he's
her
talking
first
about.
appearance was way before Spider Miles and Gwen.
That's
I
kinda what
remember
was
Hope when I was still reading X-Men from the newsstand
thinking. Mhm.
or like from the comic shop, like when I was still buying physical.
You know
books.
who we didn't mention is X23.
Yes, and that's a good point because that's a pretty cool
She's
character.
cursed by a bad cover.
What?
Wait, which one do you think is a bad cover? Because I've
The
seen
NY?
so
I'm not a
many
big fan
nice
of the
ones.
mixed whatever it is cover. I don't like that cover.
It kind of fits
What-
her who
What
she is.
what book is it? What do
It's
I have
like
to pull up on eBay?
NX. It's like NX something.
NYX,
Oh, I
isn't
know it.
it?
I know it.
NYX
It's got the
number 3.
streaky thing. It looks
Yeah.
like a horror
it's like
movie
a
cover.
it's like a watercolor almost.
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about. It's scary looking. It's scary. It's like it's a scary looking cover. Yeah, I know.
You have you have
I think it's
Echo,
a
but I
little
don't
disturbing.
see Echo being able to be, a tier.
No, I
Even-
put like Elena Belova above Echo.
Mhm.
That's probably actually a pretty underrated one.
I'm gonna
Just 'cause
jump
I
in
can see
really
her
quick.
getting a lot of MCU hype, and she's going to be very popular with the.
Yeah.
with,
I actually
like,
don't know who that
people.
character is. Belova?
Because you're if you'd watch the movies and shows.
Okay.
then, yeah.
There
I
are
don't
a few
understand how you
people
make
that
comic book content on YouTube and you don't watch the movies. How is that even possible?
I've actually been giving this a lot of thought, and the short of it is that's what makes me me, and I'm quite happy being me.
Okay.
And
What it
you know,
does
'cause
is it does give him a unique perspective because
That's true.
It
You don't
really
get caught
is
up in the FOMO.
I don't give any at all about spec. Like you miss me with all that. Like anyone making any spec this, spec that, I just don't care, and I'm so happy not caring. I'm so happy not being concerned about running out and grabbing $55 books so that one day I could try to sell 50 books for $25 a piece. Like it doesn't entertain me at all. And then larger scale spec, I just go off of emotion and gut, like everything that I loved when I was a child, I still love today, and it's all hugely appreciated, and I think it's just going to continue that trend. So I really don't, I just don't know. But in terms of just for entertainment, I just seek entertainment in different places. Like people would assume that I'm like a social butterfly and just like, you know, always like wanting to do something fun or whatever, or hang out with a lot of people and things like that. Like I just get that a lot. People are like, you seem so social. You seem like you would love doing all this and all that. I don't like doing much of anything, to be completely honest. And in terms of entertainment, I don't know. I'm just pretty entertained already. Like I'm just pretty content with stuff, and I just think it's chill and it's nice. And I haven't started. And the only reason I'm on YouTube is because of Justin. 14 weeks ago, he put me on here, and I'm still here. So I didn't know I was going to be here.
Well, I'm very thankful you're here. And
Here's the only thing you need to know: X-Men aren't in the MCU yet. Just buy every X-Men key that you could possibly think of. Profit.
And that worked. And the reason that works is because we love X-Men anyway. We remembered and love it from the 90s, and now it's just going to get even bigger and more popular, and we're already good to go because I got boxes full of it already.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have to run out and spec because some top 10 video told me to last week. That's just following natural goodness. Like you just know, there's a knowing in the good stuff, and no one needs to tell you about the good stuff. And if you don't have that sense, well, spec videos aren't going to help you much anyway, because it's not like they're the word of God, you're just going to be doing what other people are telling you to do, and you're going to get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. Often, I just really quickly, because we were having the conversation about newsstands, about how CGC doesn't have them, so on and so forth. And many people made these sorts of comments, and I didn't see them, that pricing services do acknowledge them. And that's not what we were saying. And you guys are all absolutely right. Jeremy, you're right. Obidin, you're right. Pricing services break them apart. I mean, they have to. I mean, as collectors, we demand that. If there's a book selling for $2,500 and there's another sale for $1,100, it's very important for them to let us know.
Mm-hmm.
Say again?
You need to know the difference. It's going to throw the averages off real quick.
So I'm trying to think of like what is,
Yeah.
and Keith, we're going to get to your question, and I just have it's up here for me not to forget it. But what is like the Marvel card equivalent of a newsstand? And I wonder if the buyback would qualify, because some people would say, oh, well, there's, they printed that image a million times from the 90s, right? But they take the same card, it's not a different card, and then they stamp it and put it in a pack, and now it's a buyback, and now it's is it even more special? Some people don't like it at all. I love it, and I love it because I love the card from the 90s. I love the idea that it was made more rare, and if you can get it in high condition, but because of the history of the card and the different packs and the way you got it and blah blah blah. Like, I think that might be an equivalent to a newsstand. I don't know. What do you guys think?
With buybacks, you know how many exist, though.
Mm-hmm. You do.
And
Well,
you know,
you actually, that's not always true. The 1992 buybacks that were in the 2016 Marvel Masterpieces, they're not numbered, but the math tells us it's about 108 of them because you can do the odds.
And here's the other, and this is like super in the weeds.
Mhm.
If you sent that off to grading, would it get graded as a 1996 card or a 2000 and whatever card?
It gets
Ooh.
graded. It gets graded as a 2000 whatever, and then they reference that it's of this. I didn't bring
So
one
on
with
a
me.
population report, it's going to split it out, like, you know what I mean? Whereas a newsstand, it's lumped in together.
Correct. You do get the buyback. It treats it as an insert of the new it's a subset of the new set.
So that would be another difference as well. A
And what
key
I like-
difference.
And what I like about it is it creates a parallel of a card in the 90s that didn't exist. So if you're a set collector, which is important in the card space, especially Marvel, and you're like, I'm going to master collect 1995 Marvel Metal. Well, now you got to chase the buybacks, or you really don't have a true master set. I love that.
you know, I love buybacks and I don't own any, but like they just no, and I don't. It's not that I don't own them because I don't want to. I just had no idea they existed, right? And I love everything about the idea of a buyback. It's my favorite cards from the 90s re-released with this extra stuff going on. And you know, I don't think it has to be compared to anything. I don't think it has to be said as the next this or the next that. But one thing that's certainly true is it's its own sort of awesome. And it's
Mhm.
just it just is, you know?
Yeah.
Like, wow, I love a buyback. I love it.
Yeah, I was just thinking of like the elements, not saying that it is like a newsstand I mean, it is a
Yeah.
newsstand, but what are some of those elements? All right. You gotta pay the piper here, Manu.
I
So
know.
Keith says, question 1 in Iron Man 1, what is the name of the AI Tony creates in the first version of his systems? Neo, you may not know this, but last
Okay.
week Manu promised to watch some MCU stuff as homework. So
Yeah, everyone's saying I had one job and I've failed all my friends.
do you know the answer?
I have watched Iron Man, and I'm going to try to answer this off of memory. No, I don't know the answer. I'm so sorry. I don't know the answer.
All right,
Dang
Neo,
it.
do you know the answer?
We're talking about the movie?
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's in the comics too, but
Isn't it Jarvis?
yeah, Jarvis.
Yeah. Okay. I
Dang!
was like, I thought I was like being dumb. I'm like, wait, is this like a trick question?
If it's
No,
not Jarvis,
I literally just don't know anything. That's why you were like, well, what kind of question is this? That's funny. I had no idea. That didn't even ring a bell.
he failed us all in the chat.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But you know, maybe I'll convince everyone not to go out and buy spec books like they're the most necessary thing in the world, and then that could be the value that I add.
Well, maybe you'll watch it next week.
I think I will actually. I actually think I will. And Justin, maybe I will just take your login and watch that. Thank
You're
you.
totally welcome to it. Like the Disney Plus wants you to give out like 6 of your logins. Like they want you to do that.
They do? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you can create, I think it's 5 or 6 profiles.
Get everyone hooked.
Yep.
Very cool. I'll just bring
America
this up.
Chavez. We forgot about her. Sorry.
Yeah, that is definitely a thing. William Hopkins. Every time I say William Hopkins. I don't know. I just really enjoy your name. You don't have to apologize for that, my friend, but I will just point out that he was kind enough, to say this here. He said, "Hey guys, what's up, everyone? Spidey99, I owe you guys an apology. You do not owe us an apology, but we appreciate you, my friend. You were correct in that BGS gradings are 9.5 rather than the 9.8 that he suggested some of his cards were. No, just an honest mistake, confusion. We talk about both things all the time, and I just appreciate you, feeling like you should mention that to us. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're 9.5 there. Did you see that, Neo, earlier?
Royal foil.
Well, that it's a 9.5, 10, 9.5, 9.5, 9.5.
Is that the out of 99 one? I'm not up on the background. of those
Yeah,
to know the difference.
the out of 99. The I don't have the out of 10. There's an out of 10 on PWCC right now, though. I think they want like $40,000.
Did we figure out a way to get you to the national next week, or you keep?
I'm in Dallas next weekend.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yep. Got a little
I thought he
dance
was going to be
event.
there too, but yeah.
I'm actually happy I'm not going now because now I'm planning 2
What?
trips to New York by the end of the year. One for New York Comic Con, and so I've already booked some stuff there. And then we want to take my youngest daughter to Broadway in November.
Did you get a 4-day pass to New York City Comic Con, or
I actually haven't bought it yet. So what I bought
I think
yesterday,
Saturday is sold out.
I need to figure that out then. I can go to eBay and buy it. So
There is just so you're aware, I
Mhm.
applied. I haven't heard back yet. There is a 4-day, they don't call it this, but essentially a content creator pass that you can apply for.
Ooh.
So I am going to be interviewing someone there. I've already got that set up.
It's a pretty
And-
intense process. You have to fill out an application. You have to have references.
Okay, can I use you as a reference?
I mean, I'm not in yet,
can
so
say
you might
no.
not want to use me as a reference.
I'm gonna use Manu as a reference.
I put down like industry people that I know is where I.
Oh,
went
that's a
with it.
great idea. Okay.
No, like I was like, I know the director of education at CCG, and I know
Right.
the
That's a
Peter
great
at
point.
SGC, and I put like Reggie Klex down, and
Yeah, for sure. Okay, yeah. Well, I won't say
it
too
takes
much,
like
but
15 days to hear back, but you get a 4-day pass for $100 instead of $65.
is it
a day.
easy to find that link?
I found it fairly easily. If
Okay,
not, I
yeah.
can try to track it down and send it to you.
Well, I'll do the work first, and if I don't find it, I'll reach out to you. So
Yeah, and I've heard from people that sometimes they're really easy on it and just let like everybody in, and then some years they're really tough on it. It just kind of depends.
yeah, totally.
I'll see what happens.
No, that's great.
I'm not fully committed to that show yet, but if I got that pass, it would strongly lean me towards going. I was actually having a conversation with someone in the sports card industry on Sunday, and they
Mhm.
are tangentially related to the comic book industry. And I'm like, are you guys doing anything at New York City Comic Con?
Do you have an extra pass?
Yeah. You put a word in?
Gosh, well, man, I didn't think they'd be sold out already. I feel like I was actually early.
When I looked to buy daily passes, 4 days were not available, and Saturday was sold out for individual days.
Well, I'll give a little bit of this, and a lot of people who are in the chat are in the Facebook group, so they've probably already seen it. But Simone Bianchi, the artist who did 2018 Marvel Masterpieces, is doing a private VIP breakfast and it comes with a commissioned piece of art where you get to hang out with him for like 2 or 3 hours, and he's got stuff going on at the Comic-Con and some other stuff. I'm not going to say yet because I don't know if it's public, but I've already paid for that, so that's on Saturday. So I surely hope I can get in.
Like you said, you could probably eBay a ticket if you had to.
If I had to, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to go.
I'm hoping we could go. I'm gonna kind of try to. I need to get through the national.
What is your like big goal? Like coming out of the national, what's the win for you?
I have one particular card that I'm looking for. There was 2 cards I was looking for. I bought one already. It was the Pedro Pascal auto.
Yeah. Wow.
That I got. That was one of the cards that I was looking for. It happened to pop up in a Facebook group that I'm in, and the last eBay sale of that card was September of 2021.
Wow.
So they just never come up. So when one come up, I was immediately like, yeah, we're jumping all over this. The next one I'm looking for is a Harrison Ford Han Solo auto. That's probably the biggest one on my list. And then it would be some sports card related stuff.
What has you hunting Star Wars right now while that market is like the only thing that's like going up on the charts?
I've always liked actor on-card autos from Star Wars. And that stuff, like Han Solo autos, have always sold around 2K for stellar signatures. And they're still like around that number. So it's not like those have gotten that juice. The stuff that you're seeing big increases in is the stuff that was extremely underpriced or that just came to market, like the ultra modern, like the new Star Wars Sapphire and the Galaxy Chrome and all that stuff. The older stuff is already priced pretty high. So this has been more of a rise on ultra modern Star Wars than older stuff.
You may not know the answer to this question, but how would you compare the print runs of Star Wars to sports and to Marvel cards?
I don't know, because I don't follow like the Galaxy market or the Sapphire market. Like I am very niche in my Star Wars collecting. Like I wouldn't mind a Rosario Dawson Ahsoka auto.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's in 2021 Stellar. I'm always looking at like Ashley Eckstein stuff from
I'm a huge
I have
Ahsoka
an on-card.
fan.
Yeah, basically any on-card autos from Star Wars actors I'm always intrigued. I lost a Ben Mendelsohn one last night from Krennic.
Who's Ben Mendelsohn?
Krennic in Rogue One.
Oh yeah. Okay, sorry, I just didn't know that actor's name.
Yeah, and also Talos in in Captain Marvel.
Okay, that makes sense. I didn't realize that. Well, I buy Star Wars when there's not Marvel cards to rip. Like that's what I actually really love Star Wars as a property. Thoroughly enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, just look.
Oh, hold on, let me make you big.
Oh yeah, let me see.
Ooh.
That's a green PMG.
Nice looking card. That's a PMG?
No,
What?
I'm just messing with Neo.
It is numbered out of 20 though.
That's a sick looking card, man. That's great.
So here's what I would number one, the auto.
Wait,
is.
why does
And
it have a seal on it? I'm so confused.
Can we show the auto again? I'm sorry.
Yeah. Because they come that way out of the pack.
Oh,
is that
what?
on card?
Oh,
Yeah, it's on card. Stellar's always on card.
Okay, so here's my thoughts about this, Neo. Pedro Pascal seems like the kind of person that next year is going to go, I'm never signing another thing ever.
So he hasn't signed since this.
Yeah. That just feels like his
I shouldn't say
personality.
hasn't. His signature pops up in a few other things, but not a ton. 2020 Stellar was the last time he signed in mass, and by in mass, it might be like 60 cards.
Right.
That's why when I said the last comp on a Pedro Pascal Star Wars auto was September 2021.
And Mando is going to go down what? Where would you rank him in like Star Wars fandom?
He's going to be right up there, assuming they don't like completely screw that show up, which I just don't see Favreau and Filoni doing. Like I have faith in them to land that plane.
Right.
So,
right.
I mean, I think he will be right up there with,
Top
I would after the Boba Fett TV show experience, I would say that he's probably already above Boba in regards to popularity.
I think there's no doubt.
Yeah. Like I think he'll approach Han Solo level easily. To me, Solo is probably S tier. I actually I think this is probably a legendary debate that probably Star Wars YouTubers are talking about in some other live stream right now of like Solo versus Luke as like the number one. For me, it's Han, like then probably Vader, then probably Luke.
Really? So I mean, I think Luke's like number one overall, but if you're talking about like autos from the actor.
No, I'm just talking like general popularity. I think
okay.
Yeah, I'm on Team Solo over Team Luke.
Got you. Ah, man. That's tough. Mainly because neither one of them are in my top three. I like Obi-Wan Kenobi more than both of them personally, but
yeah, I was always a scoundrel guy. Like I always had Boba Fett really high. Like,
and then Solo fits in there.
Yeah.
Manu,
Solo
what
has a
about you?
Falcon too, and I think that gives him like an extra juice.
Yeah, no, that's true. Sorry, Manu's like nothing Star Wars.
I'm just wait. Yeah, there's a couple of comments. There's so many comments that we missed, but good ones, and I just wanted to acknowledge a few and read a couple of them. But you guys carry on. We got all night.
Yeah, no.
I'm gonna sneak out pretty quick. The only other thing for me for the National is it's as sad as it sounds. Part of it'll probably almost feel like a work trip. I have some meetings lined up and stuff like that.
Yeah,
but that's kind of
means you're doing good stuff, man.
You're a content creator.
Well, you're not just a content creator, man. You're doing some cool stuff. A lot of people have respect for you. Value.
A lot of
hang out with Charles. So if you never see me again, Charles Fuchs happened. Stacking games happened to me in Atlantic City.
You know what? You're not really hanging out with Charles if he just doesn't disappear for a few hours and then come back.
I'm just worried. We saw him you saw what he was like in Atlanta, and now you're throwing him plus Atlantic City together. That just seems like a recipe for not everyone's coming home.
Yeah, that's right. Make sure he doesn't have his cards with him.
He won Steve's contest. He won Steve's giveaway.
What was that?
Flipping Steve gave away a trip to the National.
What?
Are you serious?
Yeah,
and I love
Steve gave away a trip to the National on his YouTube channel.
Let me say something about Charles. Charles
won.
He does a great job supporting content creators. He just does. I
don't really know what his actual job is because all he does is watch and comment on YouTube videos and IG posts like 24, like literally, regardless of when you post.
Shenanigans. That's his job. I love that he's got his face and his logo now.
Does he? What?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yes.
He's
yes.
got
Charles
that-
was one of the best parts of the Atlanta. Like of all the people that I met in person, he was very high on my list of people. No offense to you, Justin or Norin, who's
No,
not present
totally.
right now,
I can't
the,
stand in
the,
his
the
shadow.
mysticism around stacking gems was something that I needed to knock off the list.
Well, Manu, for a long time, stacking was just a picture. He never showed his face, never heard
I
his
remember.
voice.
Yeah, this is new to me. This icon is recent to me.
Well, I remember remember in Atlanta when they were filming at the table and he ran and hid.
He did. He let somebody else claim his card, that his cards were
They wanted
somebody
to interview him
else's.
about his PMGs and he didn't want to be on camera, so he let someone else take the interview with his cards in their hand.
Dude, that's funny. That's
That's
funny.
Charles.
He's loosening up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, boys, I'm gonna sneak out of here. Good chat. Thanks for letting me pop on for just a little
Thank
bit.
you.
Man, thank you, man. Always a
Always.
pleasure.
But yeah, national next week should be good stuff.
Are you going to
Sure.
create content from there? Or are you going to do like post national content?
So what I did last year, because I'm not a vlogger guy, that's just not my shtick. It's not my scene. It's not my style. It's way too much work.
Tell me about it.
What I did last year was I did like daily recaps that I posted
Mm-hmm.
each morning. So like I would record like I would get up in the morning and record like a 10 or 15 minute thing in the hotel room and then put it up, like just kind of talking about the previous day. So worst case scenario, I will do that. Steve and I are in the same hotel, so we're
Mhm.
talking about potentially maybe going live at some point in time if there's free time.
Yeah.
But there's usually not free time at things like this. But this is a little bit of a different vibe. Atlantic City, the convention center, and the hotels, everyone's going to be really spread out from each other.
Okay.
Like when I say everybody, I'm talking like just like literally at like macro level everybody. Because the convention center is kind of off in its own place, and then there's like a billion hotels spread across a large area. It's not like Chicago or even Atlanta or Dallas, where it's like there's the show and the hotels are all right across the street and everyone is together.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing too, which Steve brought this up, was a really good point, which I don't think a lot of people have even considered yet, is casinos are not going to let you take over a hotel lobby like a random Marriott is in downtown. Pick whatever city you want.
Mm-hmm.
Casinos are there for a whole different purpose, and you're not interrupting their day-to-day business. And
they have like actual security.
That's the next thing I was going to say. Atlantic City hotels actually have real security with probably fire, like legit firepower, not just like mall cops with mace,
Right.
maybe, and a flashlight. Like hotel security at a casino is not something you F around with. And Steve would know because Steve's day job is he works in a casino. So
That's
Mhm.
right.
he's well versed in, they're not going to let this stuff fly. So how are pop-up trade nights going to work? How's it going to work when it's Atlantic City and you can't just like run from hotel to hotel, and it's not the safest place in the world? And
Yeah, be safe, man. Everybody be safe when you
there's
guys are out there.
it's traveling is not, I mean I know that you at least looked into it for a little bit. Traveling to Atlantic City is not easy.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean? It's kind of a pain. You got to fly into Philly and drive an hour, or so it's just, hotels are super expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Super expensive. Like my hotel for 3 nights is $1,200.
Yeah, that's no fun.
No, because it's Atlantic City in the summer. It's their peak season.
Mhm.
So I don't think anyone that's going to this thing is thrilled about the location. Everyone's excited to go, but everyone wants it back in Chicago again, because Chicago's like the perfect setup.
Right.
So.
Well, Chicago would be fun. I'd like to go back there.
Oh, it's a dream setup. There's a dozen hotels that are all connected to the convention center, and
Oh, that's
everyone's
cool.
within 3 blocks of each other. You know what I mean? And you're 2 minutes from the airport where the convention center is. It's just it's a travel dream from that perspective. But I'm gonna be really interested to see, like, last year's national, there was not a lot. I mean, there was non-sports cards, but it was not like predominant. Not saying that it will be this year, but non-sports cards, whether it's Marvel, Star Wars, music, pick your thing, pop culture, is going to have way more of a presence this year for sure. I mean, this has been the rise of the non-sports category.
There's
over
going to
the
be a
last
whole
year.
different Marvel card group that's going to nationals that haven't been to the other card shows.
Oh, so you
Not-
already screwed up. You added the S.
What'd I say?
Oh yeah, he said that before, and he
said
said that
Nationals.
National. Come on.
Rookie
Professional.
mistake.
Yeah.
First-
that- you're
rookie.
showing- yeah, you're
Now you
showing
said
it.
rookie. Stop it, Justin.
Yeah, rookie card mistake.
Rookie card mistake
Rookie
there.
card mistake. That's the new one.
Oh, I love
RCM.
it.
Let's go.
Well,
Yeah,
you
I'm
have a
curious
wonderful
to see,
time,
like,
man.
what the actual like Marvel card. I was hoping that metal was going to come out right before, because then they have boxes for sale there.
Man, that would have been such a great combination for the National just to have those. Oh,
So I mean, to put it in perspective, like Blowout goes there and sets up, and they literally have like, if you're, I don't know, I'm going to date myself here, like a children's palace built out of cardboard boxes of cases of cards. Like it's just like a castle of cards in the middle of a convention
What a
center.
dream.
They bring
So
so
dope.
much stuff. Like it's crazy how much stuff like Blowout brings and those bigger vendors, and it's insane. Like you could literally I could build like a nice house out of cases of sealed wax at just Blowout's booth.
Yeah, take
Like,
a picture
it's
for
nuts,
me
the
if
semis
it
of
has
stuff
Marvel
in
cards
there.
in that palace.
Yeah. So imagine like a nice little section of Spider-Man metal that you could just go there and be mad that they're charging $600 a box for it.
Neo, even though you're not going to be vlogging and stuff, yeah, I certainly hope you're taking pictures and things, because I'll be on your stories, I'll be on your Instagram, maybe on your stories.
I'll for sure be posting stuff like on IG, and maybe I might even do like a quick little like 30-second reel or whatever, but you're not going to see like some highly professional me going around table to table brokering deals and whatnot. There are people that just do that way better, and to do that effectively, you need a camera person. I mean, Justin knows, he's done some of that stuff before at Dallas, and trying to do it on your own as a one-man band is really hard to make it look good.
Yeah, totally different experience.
When you're competing against people that legitimately, like at the National, and like I said, Justin's seen this before at Dallas and Atlanta, there are people with legitimate camera crews behind them, like 3 or 4 people. Like there's an audio guy, a camera guy, they have tens of thousands of dollars in equipment. Like, you know, I'm there with my little Sony ZV-1 and an iPhone, which you could actually do a pretty good job with that limited stuff. But to me, it's the editing. I just don't want to deal with the editing. It's so much work.
And I love the editing. That's like my favorite part of it.
What?
You don't edit. You just post like the whole 6-hour video all at once.
I love it. It's like my favorite thing to do is to.
I hate editing. I hate editing.
But I do it.
I can't tell if
phone.
Justin's joking. I can't tell if he's joking or not.
No, he 100%.
100% enjoy it.
Yeah,
wow,
most of the YouTube videos that I put up take me less than 5 minutes to edit.
Well,
if it took any more than that, I would lose my mind. So, all right, boys, I'm gonna sneak out, and maybe I'll try to come on. I don't know. I don't want to commit to the Tuesday after the National because I still might not be a functioning human being by then, but we'll see. If not that Tuesday, maybe I'll pop on the Tuesday after. I give you guys the post game report or something.
Yeah, man.
That would be wonderful. And then in the future, when we actually have product, maybe we can get you on Saturday morning Marvel cards, get you to rip some product with me.
Yeah, for sure. When I get so do we know like what is? And I'll leave on this for sure this time. So are we gonna get Metal Beginnings and Ultra all this year? Do we know the order?
I think we don't know the order for sure. Obviously, there's the release dates, but I think that this year, almost like back to back, we're going to get Metal Beginnings, Allure, and Into the Spider-Verse.
I keep forgetting about that set even existing.
Mm-hmm. I think we're going to get those 4. Yeah, those 4.
From an outsider looking in, it almost feels like all the other products are like on track, and it's Metal that's getting delayed, and it's going to run it into what you just said, where it's like, oh God, Metal just came out. Oh God, Beginnings just came out. Oh God, Fleer Ultra's out too. You know what I mean?
It's going to be a pendulum. That's what I keep telling people. It's going to be it's going to be a pendulum swing the other direction. You're going to go from no product to like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'll for sure. I don't know about Metal, but I'll definitely come on and rip like a Beginnings box or maybe even an Ultra box or something.
Yeah,
maybe even
absolutely.
Metal too. It's just like I said, I just don't know what my plans are for those 4 boxes.
Well, even if you're not opening your own product, well, you can just
just hang out. Yeah,
hang out. Yeah,
yeah,
be fun.
Or when we're crashing the EPAC servers,
do some e-packing together. That'd be fun.
I've only ever bought 1 single pack of X-Men Metal on EPAC. That's it. I'm EPAC. I guess I'm not a virgin, but you know, I'm very inexperienced.
Well, you had a cameo appearance, just not your first full
appearance. Yes. I was on the last page. I am the Hulk 180 of EPAC, X-Men Annual 14.
I like it.
That's
so,
awesome.
all right, boys.
Awesome.
We'll catch you later.
All right, have a good night.
Have a good night, my man.
All right, man.
Great.
You kept up with the comments. I didn't, so you're gonna have to help us out.
man, I did. So I'm gonna go back a little bit. So,
Mhm.
and we'll just touch a couple of things. Andrew A. Banfi was in here saying some amazing things that I didn't even necessarily. I don't think I even learned these things from him before. A lot of what I know I've learned from him.
Mhm.
But he said here, I don't know where the comment is at the moment, but I remember what it said. He said that CBCS and
Mhm.
PGX he mentioned, we don't care about PGX, but for the reason he's mentioning it,
Mhm.
he said they've been separating Newsstand from Direct for a long time. I didn't
Really?
even know that. I didn't know that. And obviously, I don't pay enough attention to CBCS, and I'm not in their senses because I don't think, maybe a few, but I don't have CBCS in my collection. Oh, there it
Mhm.
is. Yeah. So I didn't know that actually. And that's pretty cool. And then obviously he says, none are bad, direct or newsstand. That is absolutely correct. And that's something that's so important to say, like
Mhm.
no one is saying you have to have a newsstand, not at all. But if
Mm-mm.
you subscribe to the notion, well then, play ball, have fun. That's all,
Well, if basically if you have some money, you can find a direct, but
Yeah.
it's not easy to find a newsstand in high grade.
It's not. And then moving on from there, Marvelous Specs had several comment. Not Marvelous Specs.
Somebody claim it.
Claim it. That's a good one, guys.
Mhm.
Marvel Pax, MPax, he had a lot of things to say in support of Spec. And what I want to say to that is, dude, you're right. He said Spec makes things interesting, make things fun. And then he just said Spec all caps with a bunch of exclamation marks. You're right, my friend. It does. And I just always am the voice of saying, don't get too caught up in it though, guys, because I'm no stranger to the conversation, to the questions that people that are new into collecting. Not everyone's, pushing 40 years old. Not everyone's 50. Not everyone's in their 30s. Not everyone knows what they love from when they were in the 90s. There are
Mhm.
people that are 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 years old right now making decisions about where to spend part of their paycheck on buying books. And they're just getting into collecting, and the communication that's coming into their world to guide them is coming a lot from social media, and a lot of it is coming from channels and just influencers that talk heavily about Spec. And I think I want to be a loud voice for them, just to say, hey guys, relax. It's okay to miss a book. It's okay to not buy it just because it might go up in value. Like, who cares?
Mhm.
You know how many things in life are going to go out and up in value that you're not going to have? Majority of them. Just
Mhm.
because somebody's on YouTube making a case for it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with not buying it. And that's all, because Spec makes it fun. If you could afford to Spec, Spec. If you could afford to spend $1,000 on books that might be worth tens of thousands later if the Spec pays off, and you can afford to lose the 1,000 if it doesn't pay off, Spec.
Mhm.
Another thing that's really important for me to say is, when people, because people do this, man, people will show you a short box full of one book, right?
Mhm.
One book in a short box, and they'll be so proud of it. And that's something to be proud of. Guys, think about the amount of effort it takes to sell a short box full of books. And also put your time and effort that's going to go into selling it and packaging it and dealing with people that have questions that, if you're not a all the time selling sort of person, you might find a little annoying. I don't find annoying because I'm annoying. I'm the annoying buyer. So I love annoying questions, right? They're not annoying to me, they're detailed to me. But give some consideration to the effort it takes to sell and turn back into money the items that you're bringing into your collection. If you're only bringing them in because you want to sell them, you got work to do when it's time to sell them, because a lot of times we're not talking about 5 or 6 books. We're talking about people that are hoarding books that when the market spikes, they're going to want to sell it. Well, sometimes being the person that sells in a spike, if you've got 100 of them to sell, you'll be the reason that the market will come down as well. Like, there's just
Right.
a lot of things to factor. And I just want to make sure that everyone's thinking about it critically, because
Mhm.
it's FOMO is so real. Being made to feel like you're being left out of something is happening left, right, and center. And it's not the greatest thing for someone to feel if they're feeling left out. But guys, no one is left out of anything. Even if you don't own the book that everyone's excited about, you are still very much a part of it. You don't need the thing to feel
Mhm.
the rush. Like, I know it's a weird way to put it, There's always another book going up. There's always another opportunity. There's always another GameStop. There's always another Ethereum. Nothing's that important. Most important is making sure you're happy and having a good time in what you're doing. Man, you'll get burned out specking, you know, just waiting for things to go up in value, but you don't like having them. Well, that could get exhausting, you know, but that's all. You're right. Marvelous Pack specking is a great deal of excitement. And if it's what you do it, you know. I got nothing against it. Well, I mean, it sounds like I do, but I'm just saying it's not all about spec. And it's just, you should be a little careful. Some people should be a little careful. Everyone else can have reckless abandon if they can afford it.
Yeah, and I like to define spec. Spec means speculation. Speculation means the value that that there's not value there. There's value that might be there in the future that would cause something to go up in price. And people look for elements of those things early so that they can speculate that it might go up in value. And things that are valuable tend to go up in value over time, no matter what. And so that's why, you know, being more of a collector investor is safer, right? And the reason why I'm gonna use the word masses here, and I may be wrong, but why there's a large segment of the people who want to spec is because it has an ease of price point entry, as opposed to having to save up the money to buy something that already has value that likely will continue to go up in value.
Yeah.
And that plays into, I think, a big part of the why spec videos get views, because there's people who are like, well, I would rather be buying books at a lower price point with the chance of it going up 10x rather than having to save 10x to buy a book that might go up 3x.
Yeah, no, you're right. But you know what's, you're absolutely right. But there's no but. You're right. Next thought for me is that I got to stop saying but, because what you're saying is absolutely right. Is that, let's say you are doing that, right? Let's say it's an ease of entry and price point. You know, you're buying books before they've appreciated. So you may be paying a couple of bucks more than retail, but let's say you're paying less than 20 bucks for a book, right? So it's not really a big deal to grab it. Now, how many times are you spending 20 bucks on a particular book that you're going to spec on? How many of those specs are going to play out? All you ever hear about is the spec that work. Well, if you bought 100 books in the span of 3 months because someone or you thought they would spec out, and 95 of them don't, bro, you done lost way more money than you're going to make on those few that went up. Like,
well, it's not just the money, the time, effort, and energy.
Yeah, man.
That and the time, effort, and energy that could have been applied somewhere else. So the compound impact on the loss is actually maybe more than you even realize.
Absolutely, beautifully, and so significant dimension. You are right. But again, spec your hearts out, guys. It's fun. I get it.
Yeah. I can tell you that I bought cards that, were in 2021 that were expensive, that I sold last week during a down market and made a tremendous amount of money.
Ooh, very nice. Very nice. Wait.
Okay,
I mean, yeah, it's still specking. It's not.
But I didn't buy it as spec.
I got you. Okay.
I bought cards that were good cards, like nice cards that had a strong sense that I just enjoyed. And I actually didn't think I would sell them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The opportunity presented itself. And to the comment earlier, it was, hey, look, what is long term? Well, it's when you can sell that to get into something you want more. And
okay.
That's what happened. I was like, okay, I have these things over here. I become a little more clear on my collecting, what I want, and I'm going to go. I have an opportunity to move these. I just, happened to come available, and now I have more funds to be able to get into this other thing I want more of, which is Spider-Man cards.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'm glad that you did so well on those purchases. Listen, we love doing well on our purchases. We love it. When I say, I'm just saying there's nuance. Like, everything shouldn't just be blanket statements. And you and I do not make blanket statements. Symbiote Elite is here. That is Old Man Venom, who we've been talking about. What's up, my friend? Very nice to see you in here. Yeah. And he did leave a comment here, and I'm thinking the comment is about something. Marvel collectibles are recession proof. I really like you saying that. And obviously, some get affected, and maybe he's saying it, somewhat facetiously and somewhat seriously. But a lot of Marvel collectibles, the ones, if you're really critical about how you collect them and you know how many exist, so on and so forth, they have been quite recession proof. You know, it's been pretty incredible. He did say here, as a comic collector, I'd say certain cards seem to be worth more than certain 9.8s. You know what? Certain cards in the PSA 10 are worth more than those characters' first appearances. And he's right. Like if you think about certain Carnage cards in a PSA 10, they could cost several hundreds, if not several thousands of dollars.
I will tell you that one of the sales I've made in the last 30 days was of a. I'm not going to make this stuff public, okay? And I'm not going to make it public because the people that purchased were private and they don't want it out there. These cards are numbered and rare, and they'll pop up. You don't hide these sales in Marvel cards; they're too rare. Okay. So if you want to know why I'm not making it public, it's because I'm honoring the person that purchased it, not because of any other reason. So, all right. So people get upset when I don't disclose some things.
Okay.
So that's why I say that. But my point of saying this is, like, I sold some stuff that I sold for almost double for what the first appearance in a 9.8 of that comic book goes for, of the same character.
Now, I would assume the amount of those cards in that grade that existed were a very, very small fraction compared to how many 9.8s of that book existed.
Yeah, it's that. But this is the point, I think, that Symbiote Elite is making, is that when you start looking at what exists, it's just a lot less. And, you know, obviously then there's a lot smaller buyer pool. That's part of it. But
yeah. And they're fighting harder for it. You know, you got 3 people with the means to get something. They're going to fight for it. And it that's great for markets. That's absolutely great for markets. I really, really enjoy that. There was a question here that was asking about how to tell. I think it was Sin City. I'm pretty sure it was Sin City. Yeah, he says, Manu, is there a way to know if a graded book has been pressed? Are there notes somewhere, or is it a flip of a coin type situation? Well, it really depends on whether the individual that's looking at the graded book in that encapsulation knows what to look for. There are certain visual indications that a book has or hasn't been pressed, of course. If you see wrinkles all through the page, you could assume that that's not reversion to a press, that's an unpressed book. Now, if you look at the spine of a book in a particular light and you start seeing the spine stresses, you can't assume right away that that's unpressed. That could very easily just be reversion. At one point it was pressed flat, and a week later it wasn't flat anymore. And so I won't say it's a coin toss, because the odds are in the favor of the individual that has the experience and expertise to know what they're looking for. Now, to answer the question about are there notes somewhere, no, because if you would have pressed the book by yourself or a third party and you sent it to CGC, well, they have no idea that you pressed it, and they don't look at a book and say, this looks pressed, and then put that in the notes. They grade it for what is in front of them. They don't care what you've done to get it to that condition. Well, you know what I mean, restoration aside. And then this part that I'm about to say, I'm going off of what I think, not experience. So if I'm wrong, I'd be happy to be corrected. If you submit a raw book to CCS, which is CGC's grading division, and you ask them to press the book, now they're obviously aware that you've paid them to perform this press, but I don't think they make note of that. Nothing in the records for that book serial number say this was at one time pressed by CCS. I could be wrong, but I do not think there is ever a recorded indication of the press outside of their database, for their accounting purposes, so on and so forth. So if you want to identify an unpressed book, you just have to become trained in seeing an unpressed book.
Yeah, I think that takes a lot of time to learn that, though.
To learn it does, but once you're there, you're there. And then the next step for that is going to be to say, well, that's unpressed. Why was it unpressed and not pressed? And those conversations are going to start for older golden age books and stuff like that, where the grades that are being traded are very expensive, but they're like 3.5s and 4.5s and 5.5s. A lot of times those books remain unpressed. We brought this up last week, is if there's damage to a book, or if the book is too delicate, it's in a state where it's not going to go higher than a certain grade because of the non-pressable defects, there are defects that aren't pressable, color breaks, tears, missing this, missing that. A press isn't going to do any good for any of that. And in fact, it could make it worse. So
sure.
if a book's super delicate, it could have not been pressed because the person dealing with the book was smart enough, wise enough to know that it's going to max out at the grade that it is, and a press wouldn't do it any benefit. So if you see a book that looks like it can use a press, that doesn't mean it's going to benefit from the press. But that only applies to older books. Anything new, if it looks like it could use a press, oh, it could use a press. For sure.
This is an interesting question from Vintage Lord Canada.
Yeah.
Here's sort of a strange question. If the 1996 Donruss set is considered the inaugural set for Marvel cards, should the checklist card in the set be considered the grail of all Marvel card checklist cards? All Marvel checklist cards.
I love that. My gut wants to say yes. So I haven't thought about it. I'm just reacting to the question the way that I'm hearing it. And I'm like, yeah, let's do that. That sounds like the most important checklist in the world to me.
So, so Johnny Bravo, great guy, very good collector, says possibly White Border 92 MU checklist is an obscure rarity as well. Bit the 66 probably, but the 66 probably eclipse it. So I have a couple different thoughts here, and this is without me not actually knowing much here. Like this is just me guessing and speculating. But my guess is that the 1966 checklist was probably significantly handled and used to like check off the list.
Yeah.
And that checklist in high grade would make it really special. But there are very like nuances or variants, I'll use that word, to checklists like the 1992 MU, where you have these obscurities. The 1995 Marvel Metal, there's some debate on, is there a silver flasher kind of version of it where the background's different, but it's really hard to tell? And there's others I just can't think of them while we're live right here. But I would think 1966 and high grade would be really, really special.
I agree with that. And I see what Symbiote Elite was responding to. It was right before that. There was a question from Davian Henderson where he said, which one overall is worth more, the books or the cards?
Yeah, I mean, books are it depends.
There's just nuance. Nuance. When a book can arguably be what the collector wants more. Like maybe someone wants the ASM 300 more than they want the 1988 Venom card.
The book belongs in the Smithsonian, like, in the sense of like AF-15 high grade belongs in the Smithsonian, right? Yeah. There's not a Marvel card that at this point belongs in the Smithsonian. There maybe will be one day, but we haven't reached that historical significance. And I'm saying this as a guy who really likes to collect Marvel cards.
I was about to say, it's so beautiful to hear that come out of your mouth because it's surprising, right? It's not surprising it's just like, wow, that's how unbiased you're approaching it. That's how reasonably you're approaching it. You love Marvel cards.
A lot.
But even you are like, hold on a second, we haven't reached that yet, which is crazy because I'm almost like, what? Some cards might have, but maybe they haven't. Yeah. That's awesome that you would say that. Yeah.
Doom says the Rittenhouse Marvel Universe 2014 checklist exists as a numbered to 10 card. So that whole set, I didn't know the checklist, but the whole set has a number to 10. It's called the Diamond. I didn't know the checklist had that. So that's pretty insane.
Oh, it has a parallel set that's numbered to 10.
Mm-hmm.
For the entire set, and the checklist is one of them. Got it.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. Dang.
That's really, thanks, Doom. Doom he's on top of his stuff.
Yeah, Doom. That's what's up, man. Deadpool D's. Have FOMO, go for a run. Yep. Cold showers and long runs. Get everything done.
Cold showers and long runs. Are you a cold shower guy?
No. I tried that, not for a very long period of time, because I was really curious to know, like, if I am able to get myself in a mental state to take freezing cold showers, is it going to change my life for the better? But I was so miserable taking the shower, I didn't care if there was any benefit. I want my shower, my normal shower.
I'm like, you're in the shower for a totally different reason than I am. Like, but Can't Hurt Me. The book Can't Hurt Me. The soldier who wrote the book on how to overcome the mental, thoughts of being hurt. Like this guy runs until his feet bleed and his toenails fall off and all that kind of stuff. He
Okay.
swears by taking a cold shower. Like that's a requirement. Never a warm
Yeah.
shower.
Yeah.
But he's trained himself to get away from comfort, like David Goggins. Yeah, that's who I'm talking about, David Goggins.
Got
But
you.
man,
Got you.
thoroughly enjoy my tankless water heater and my endless hot water.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what the origins of it were. I was
Yeah.
just, introduced to the concept through people on YouTube. You know how people are like, yo, I started taking cold showers. This thing is crazy. My days go better and everything and this and that. So I was like, let me try it. But I do not have the mental strength to take the cold. I'm so miserable in there.
Define
And I
cold.
took a few.
Yeah.
I took a few, man. Like I took a few cold showers. You get through them, but how much of a pep talk you have to give yourself every single day to take the cold shower? I gave up.
I'm not there yet. Maybe one day.
Charles Fook said, I just speculated, just won a 2017 Spider-Gwen PSA 6 on eBay for $300. Might have overpaid. Oh, I see. Okay.
It's
well,
a
congrats
red
on the purchase.
It's a red 6 PMG. So you said it was PSA? Is that what he said?
Yeah, PSA 6, yeah.
I saw someone get a really nice
that's
red.
that's a different.
That's different? Sorry, go ahead.
No, it is a different comment from Charles. It is from Charles. Yes, PSA 6. Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw someone win a card. I won't say anything, but anyways, it was a 6 grade and they showed it. It's really, really clean card. I think they're going to crack it and resubmit it, try to get it to an 8, but I don't know why I got a 6.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Keith says, don't start with the cold shower, work your way down. Yeah, I kind of just went cold. Right. I went, just cold turkey. That's not how you use that, but I just went for the cold.
Deadpool D's is quoting David Goggins here. Embrace the suck, the callous mind.
Oh, okay.
Force Moon.
Yeah, that's it. My man. All right, we'll catch up very soon. Thank you for being here, my friend.
We talked Star Wars tonight. Did he not make comments in our comments?
No, he was here. He might have just been absorbing, but he's been here with us since the beginning, so I really appreciate it. But yeah, we did talk Star Wars.
Well, I want to get to Keith's comment because he took a lot of time to put this out there. Justin, biggest character debuts in the last 15 years. X-23 2004, Hope 2008, Miles 2011, America Chavez 2011, Robbie Reyes 2014, Silk 2014, Spider-Gwen 2014, Ironheart 16,
Ironheart,
Cosmic Ghost Rider 17, and Star Brand. He doesn't list any of the villains in there. We mentioned some of those earlier. He left off Blue Marvel. Shame on you. And that doesn't fall in. Well, yeah, it falls in the last 15 years. And who else? Can't think of who else, but out of those, Spider-Gwen, Miles, Silk, X-23, that's my top 4 out of those.
Spider-Man, Silk, Gwen, X, top 4 you named. I'm missing one.
Yep. X-23, Miles, Spider-Gwen, and Silk.
Got it. I actually forgot about Ironheart, and there's something really compelling about Ironheart to me, although I don't know the storyline. I don't know the actual creation and origin of the character. But I do know she's a young girl who's the new Iron Man. I mean, I'm saying this loosely, and I hope that's
no, you're nailing it. Yeah.
And guys, I'm gonna be honest with you. I've spec'd. I have Raws and 9/8 of various Ironheart potentially important books. So I've done it, but also the reason I did that is because I had an appreciation for what I read about the character and what I saw on the covers. I said, I like this. And I did spec though, because I did say to myself, I think this might have legs. And also cost of entry on those low. I didn't buy a short box full of books. I bought a couple of books for $50 a piece and a couple of 9/8 for $100, $150 a piece. Now they're going to serve 2 purposes for me. Eventually, I do think I'm going to sell them, but also the reason they exist here and many of those characters don't exist in my collection is because for some reason I took a liking to the notion. I still reacted to an emotion that said, I want these here with me.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And so I spent a day or two to find what I wanted, and I made some purchases, and that was it.
There's a
And
couple of
and
she has some
yeah,
beautiful covers. They really are nice.
yeah. And there's still a blue variant. The I think it's the retailer incentive variant for Invincible Iron Man #1. I might be messing up the title, where the
Right.
actual trade dress is written in the light blue. And I actually don't have that one, and that's one of the most compelling ones for me to have, because it's the rarer one. But the reason I don't have it is because I assumed that price was not where I wanted to be. And yeah, there were a few sales, I think, at like 1,500 or 2,000. I don't think it's selling for that now. I think I might even be able to get that 9.8 for like $600, $500. Now I want it. So I'm glad I remembered, because that is something I enjoy specking on. So I'm going to find that book now.
Good job. Well, so the mantles, the characters who have mantles, like Spider-Man, anybody can put on the mask.
Yeah.
Anyone can become Spider-Man, which is why I think he's universally the most popular, by the way.
Mhm.
And Iron Man's similar. Anyone can put on an iron mask. So you have this mantle that can be carried forward. Black Panther, I think a lot of people think Black Panther is just T'Challa, but that's not true. It's a mantle that can be passed on. I think those have some interesting, elements of being able to carry forth, if the story is told well, can pick up I'm already a fan of Spider-Man, so yeah, it's easy to transition into Miles. I'm already a fan of Iron Man, so it might be easy to transition into Ironheart. And then they pick up a new fan base because there's elements about them that are different, right? So I think the mantles are interesting.
Yeah. I was curious where you were going to go with that, because I thought for a second, because anyone can, I might have misunderstood something and then just turned it into a different narrative in my head. Anyone can put on the Spider-Man mask, but
That's
not
the point.
everyone is going. That's the point. But not anyone that puts on the mask is going to just become Miles Morales. Like.
Well, the caveat there for me is good storytelling. Like
Yes.
it's got to be a compelling, like Peter Porker, Spider-Ham is not everybody's favorite. It's not compelling.
Heck
like it's
no.
fun, it's over there, it's whatever, but it's not compelling. So yeah, I think if I don't know Ironheart's Riri Williams story well enough to tell you whether or not it's compelling, but I think if it is, it can work.
Yeah, I don't know the story well enough either. And you're right. The story has to be compelling. Look, man, there's a lot of songwriters out there that could write a great song, but that doesn't mean it's going to turn into a hit. Like there's other elements and they all have to fall into place. But when you got a hit, you run with it. And, so good conversation. Good conversation indeed.
All right, here's one for you. 9.9. Do you collect Spawn cards? I recently picked up a couple of Spawn binders and a sealed box of Coronium Spawn and the toy file cards because it was pretty good price, and I love Spawn as a kid.
Yeah, here's the answer is yes and no. The answer to yes, I collect Spawn cards is because I still have all of my childhood Spawn cards, and that includes the Chromium cards. That includes the long cards. There was like ones that were like longer,
the oversized,
longer. And so I have those cards, as well as like there were a variety of like Spawn promo cards that came out in magazines, so on and so forth, including the Wizard #11 with the prism silver border on the Spawn card. Now, coincidentally, someone just sent money.
We have a first on the channel, guys. The first ever on the
Hutch's
Spidey
Hobby,
Hits
thank
channel.
you so much.
Wow, I'm completely humbled by this. And yeah, Hutch Hobbies, thanks for the great Marvel card content to help me with this word. Satiate, yes. Sorry.
Yeah.
My need to watch boxes get ripped, best Marvel card channel on YouTube. Wow, you're gonna make me cry. That is really awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, Hutch's,
I don't even know how to act. Like that's incredible.
No, yeah, and Hutch's, yeah, it's just a kind gesture that we hadn't seen. We appreciate everybody here, but that's just kind of cool. I never saw that thing pop up, And then also I want to say your icon looks absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
So happy to have you here. And friends, let's all just say that's a cool thing that Hutchins did. That's interesting. Wow, I didn't even know that was a thing. I just saw money, and I was like, what the heck? There's money up there.
There's money. I have no idea where it goes. Like, where does the money go
Right?
from here?
Right? Anyway, Justin, don't spend it all in one place. Okay.
Well, I can tell you where it's going to go. It's going to go to more Marvel cards,
It's gonna
more
go to Marvel
boxes
Metal.
that we can all enjoy and rip together. Yes.
Yeah. Where Spawn cards. Hutchins, anyway, very nice. Nice to have you here. Super cool thing to just see pop up, and your icon looks amazing. Awesome. We have to find out what Hutchins does on Instagram. Go show some love.
That's
And
awesome.
then so the Spawn cards, historically I have them. I do not hunt them and collect them now. And I don't know how many exactly exist. And I am big into McFarlane stuff, of course. Like, I just love McFarlane.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, the other day on eBay, it's always another day on eBay.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know this was a pop one. This was so crazy to me. The Wizard promos Spawn card from the magazine, not the gold border one that was given to retailers as a thank you, but the one in the magazine. Apparently, it's only a pop one PSA 10 because the borders are horrendous on that card.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a pop one, and
Can you
it's
pull up
sold.
an image of that card?
Well, I wouldn't be able to share it with you if I pulled up the image.
Okay.
Yeah, you know,
Okay.
I suck.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sorry.
get it.
Oh, I could show you the card. No, not within arm's reach. I can't.
Well, because I have the PSA 10 Wizard.
No.
Spawn.
You have no. That's a different one. That chromium. You have the chromium one. I'm talking about the one from Wizard number 11. Yours is from like
Okay.
Wizard,
Right.
you know, a little later,
200.
which is
yeah.
awesome card.
Happy to have
Awesome
it.
card. Absolutely. Absolutely sick card. This is the original Venom. Spawn card that has the same image on it that's on the cover of the magazine. And it's sold for like not a crazy amount of money. It sold for like, I don't remember exactly what it ended at. I think it was $577.
Okay.
And you know,
That's a lot of money.
It's one of those. I mean, I thought that was like a very reasonable amount to pay for that PSA 10. Am I off base? Is that in my world thinking that?
Well, I mean, I'm just talking about in general. That's a lot of money. I have not kept up with Spawn cards. I have a fun Spawn story I'll share in a minute as it relates to cards, but I think that's a really strong sell.
Here's what I'll say about that sale. It's interesting for me to hear that from you. And I obviously partially agree because I was thinking about buying that card, right? Oh my gosh, I'll tell you exactly what happened. You and I were on a conversation. I think a phone call lasted about an hour when that auction was happening, and I completely missed it. It was the conversation we had, not on a live, but a phone call. No, whatever. Life happens, you know?
Yeah,
This is
no, I'm just
auction after
messing with
auction ending. Yeah, like I said, there's always something else to buy. And so, but when it got off the phone, I went through my watch list and ended, and I was like, oh shoot, I missed it. And I think it was 577. But here's the thing about it. I like to come in so low. I like to steal things. That's the only way I'm happy to keep them when I know I can turn them into more than I paid easily. Not have to wait 5 years to do it, or else I'm too aware of the fact that that's money sitting over there, you know? And so it sold for 577, which is more than I would have bid on it. So I was fine with it being sold. Because if it would have sold for 250 or something, then I would have been like, Justin,
right,
we can't have conversations on the phone anymore. But it sold for more than I would have paid. And so so I agree with you, a lot of money, or else I would have mentally been in a place where I would have paid that. But here's an interesting thing, tying this into the book, the value of comic books and the value of the card. Now, I'm not going to tie it into the comic book. I'm going to tie it into the value of the actual Wizard 11 magazine.
Yeah. So you have you have context that not everyone's going to have.
Yeah. And I'll provide the context. This is an interesting one. Of the Wizard number 11, the Spawn cover, there are only 2 9.8s on the CGC census. One is a yellow label, meaning it's signed. It's signed by Todd McFarlane, and admittedly, it's not the most attractive autograph. But check this out. That book was on eBay for $2,000 or best offer for a while. But the seller kept his, he held strong, which I'm proud of him for not, just letting it go because people didn't recognize how dope and rare it was. And ultimately, he ended up getting a sale for $1,500. So that's the only 9.8 yellow label sold for $1,500, which I think, much, much more down the line, we'll have to see how many 9/8 get added. But
Wait,
if
are
not too many,
these? Is the
yeah.
card in that book? Like, does it
It's not
talk
great.
about
No,
that?
because you have to open up the poly bag and you have to,
Okay, gotcha.
it's just floating in the poly bag. So the graded book does not have the card. It had to be removed, of
So
course.
it wasn't an envelope with a card in it like you see in a lot of
No,
magazines.
no. It was actually just floating on the front of the card within the poly bag, just
Mhm.
kind of
That's
banging
how
around the
Wizard
surface.
mostly did it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
And some were mailaways like the comic books, like the sealed ones and stuff
Mhm.
were mailaways too. But so that book sold for $1,500. And then here's the weird thing about the other 9/8 on the census. There's only two, and the other one is a blue one, blue label, not signed, universal, and it
Mhm.
happened to be a newsstand, which
Mm.
is so crazy. And I was the owner of it. And I wasn't the one that graded it, but I was the one that paid like nothing for it because no one
Wow.
else saw the value in it. And it was with me, since I bought it from the person that didn't realize it was worth anything.
Mhm.
Uh, and then I went on to sell that for $1,000. So
Nice.
$1,000 for the blue label. And I sold it after I enjoyed it, like I didn't just
Mhm.
buy it and sell it. I was like, this is good. That's how I like things. Like, oh, this is good money. I could sell this whenever I want. Until then, I am happy to have it. And somebody, made me an offer, and I said, well, yeah, go ahead, it's yours now. And so sold that for 1,000. The yellow label went for 1,500, and the card, now we have a price for the
Mhm.
PSA 10, $577. I think it would be justifiable if not too many more 10s are added. That becomes an over $1,000 card. It's
Hmm.
pretty dang cool. It's pretty sick card. That's
That's.
it. Uh,
Do you have any of those laying around in polybags?
yeah, a lot. Do you want one?
Yeah, I
Got
want
you.
one. I want a grade
Yeah.
one too.
Yeah, I have a lot of Wizard ones in polybags. I mean, Wizard 11s in polybags. Wizard ones never came polybag. I have a
Right.
lot of Wizard 11s polybag, newsstands, and direct. And I'll tell you what, they don't all look like 9.8s. Like just because they're in a
Right.
polybag doesn't mean those things weren't banging around.
They get they get thrown around.
Yeah.
So Hutch's hobby says, didn't realize I was the first donation. I just always like to help out content creators who I watch tens of hours of their content that they work hard on. And yes, thank you. That's really kind of you. And so for my Spawn card story, so as a kid going to the cards, coins, and collectibles, would often go with our friends whose parents would take them, named Matt. And Matt always had more money than us. Long story short, we were kind of living through him a little bit. And he bought, I believe, a box of Spawn cards, but it was the longer ones, right? And he's opened them up and he hits what is described. I remember the conversation from the owner or the worker at the shop. He was like, that's not just a box hit or a case hit. That's a crate hit, is what he called it. He's like, if you
Okay.
took all the boxes that came on the crate, there's only one of those in there. And it was almost like the see-through card. It was kind of an acetate,
Yeah.
look to it. But that was like the seed of a lot of what is here today is seeing my friend open that and hit that and hear this guy describe it as that in that moment. And I remember him going like, that's $100 card or something of that nature. And we're literally in the 4th grade. Okay.
Yeah.
Just so you
Yeah.
know, like I hung out with this guy 4th grade, 5th grade, and then we moved. So it marks a very specific time frame for me, which was just a really cool experience.
That is. And I now want to know what card that was. I want to know how much it's worth today.
Yeah. It's not worth. I've looked it up because I thought about buying it because of that
Okay,
memory,
got you.
and I don't
Got
think
you.
it's the longer cards don't go in binders. They just
Dude, I had to
don't do
cut
well.
2 sleeves, because you can't put half of it in a sleeve and then the other sleeve over it because the sleeve
Mhm.
doesn't fit over the sleeve. So
Right.
you have to cut some of the other sleeve to get it in. It's not a legit,
You can see Todd's like, will you get more card? Like, no, Todd, we
Todd
don't
being
want
Todd,
more
yeah.
card. We want you to.
Yeah.
Why you always got to be different? Can you just not give us a 3x5 trading card? Thank you very much.
Hey, earlier today when you were saying that some comic books are starting to come out with like the numbered things, were you referencing specifically like what Spawn did with those signed
Yeah, I mean,
books?
that's one thought, but let me give you another one.
Okay,
And
yeah.
some of this I think is not yet what it might be in the future. And I have some thoughts of that, and because of some of my conversations with people, I need to keep those to myself at the moment. But I'm gonna give you an example, okay?
Mhm,
And I'm
mhm.
pulling up a photo on my phone if you want to know what I'm looking at. Okay, so give me a second.
You got it.
So
You got it.
right now, like let me show you this. Let me make myself big. Boom. Like let this focus, and let's see if we can see how cool it is. Y'all can't see that,
What?
can you? Because it's so
It
white.
it I do see it. It is a little blown out, but that's Moon Knight up there, correct?
That's Moon Knight. And
Yeah.
if you could, if it wasn't for it being kind of blown out, it would look really awesome. But let me see if I turn my brightness down, if that helps.
Yeah. Oh,
There
it
we
helps
go.
tremendously. There you go.
Look how
But that's
awesome
not,
that
yeah.
is.
What is that?
Okay, so that's a COA. All right.
Okay.
That was with a book. And like there's the back of it. Okay. And this is like the miles that we all saw. Okay.
Is that a black glove?
Yeah.
Did that person get permission? Because I have a
I know.
trademark on that. I'm just
He
joking.
also has a a wooden table.
I know
Okay.
exactly who that is.
So here is the second one. But you see that bottom right hand corner?
Yeah.
651 of
number?
800.
Oh, got it.
651 of 800.
Yep.
So the COA is serial number. Yeah, you can see Trinity Comics. Okay.
Mhm.
So you're starting to see some numbering going on with it. Here's the card for that one that's numbered. That's EM Geist, however you say it. Don't know.
How do you feel about the numbering being on a COA and not on the item itself?
Not great,
Yeah.
but I'm a card guy, so I'm actually more intrigued by it being on the card and knowing that
think,
it corresponds with the number that's on the book. Like the number of books. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it corresponds, but if you've got 10 of the book, it doesn't correspond anymore because no one knows which one went with which book. But you will have a record of how many of the books it came with.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that it's separated the same way for like I like it, but it's the same thing as like COAs on a signed item. After it exchanges hands so many times, the COA means nothing because it could have been paired with the wrong item over time. But I like it.
Well, again, like I said, I don't think it's yet what it might be.
You're right. Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's really super simple. It's just the labor of going this card, and we're going to handwrite number of the book and put them together. Like
Yeah.
it's not hard, but even still, I just think that creating additional transparency about how much is out there might be part of what people think looking back on today's books might give them value. That's what happened with cards. So just so you know, when you go through the 90s and everything's printed to the moon, they call the sports era the junk wax era, meaning that literally to open up a pack made the stuff worth less than it's sealed. That's what that means. Because it was that much of it. That's why they call it the junk wax era. Okay.
Yeah.
And that morphed into hard numbers, where even though there might be a high print run, there are cards in the set that are hard numbered, creating value and a chase. Does that make sense? So it still allowed the company to print to the moon, to make the money that they need to make to be profitable, while giving the market something to chase.
Right.
And so, that's proven to be a thing. Now what it's becoming, and there's going to probably have to be some adjustments, is that, well, let's put 350 cards in the base set, and then let's create 8 parallels, all numbered, times 350. And now we've got everybody's hitting a number card, and there's a lot of them, right? So now that's become an issue. But moving to comics, well, if you're wanting to sell a bunch of comics, right, you could also create this numbered, rare aspect of it that might be the thing that people are into in the future. It's not randomized like cards, at least not right now, where you don't know if you're going to get it. Like, not everybody that opened up a pack of Flare Ultra got this card out of it. Only 99 people did, right?
Yeah.
But But I just wonder if that might be a part of comics, and I wonder if the exclusive and or these, a numbering like Spawn did, like Todd did on Spawn, might be a way to do it.
Yeah, you you know there's no way to wrap up the conversation, because the evolution of that is that we're in the process of it, right? Like, so
Mhm.
we're just seeing examples of what's been done and thinking, how can this be done better? And I'm not saying that I don't like a supporting COA to an item.
Mhm.
It's not the fully evolved version of it, because
Mhm.
it's an add-on item, and I think it's dope. I think it's cool. I think there's the possibility of the ones that are card sized being more appreciated as a hard numbered card than even mattering what the book is.
100%. Because, like, give you an example about this. So this is not happening right now. I'm saying this could happen. Okay. So, like, take something like this. The book that this card's associated with is not significant. The
Gotcha.
Mando is, because it's his first appearance. Okay.
Okay.
Now imagine what if Topps had licensed this, and on the back of the hard numbered was also the Topps logo, meaning it could be
Right.
graded as a trading card.
Right.
What if also out of the 800, the distributor stuck in 10 holograms of the card, hollows?
Yeah. Yeah.
And those were randomized.
It's like buying the comic book is buying the pack of cards.
It's
and
buying
you
the
get to
pack of
see.
cards, but they're
Yeah.
two together. The book's significant because it's the first appearance. The
Mhm.
card's significant because it's numbered and it's the only way you could have got it. And by the way, these right here that I'm showing you, these are San Diego Comic-Con exclusives.
Oh,
So
very cool.
the only way to get these COAs is to get it with the book at San Diego Comic-Con. Oh,
Deadpool.
Terry, I fell for the Billy Ripken card. I think there's a story there that I've heard before and I can't remember it. So you have to help me out with that one.
That reminded me of something that I think it was Symbiote Rain was asking, and I think he was asking our opinion on Ben Riley. Wait, Ben Riley's the Scarlet Spider, right?
Spider. Mhm.
Yeah, and where was the question? He said, where do you fellas see Ben Riley on the ranking of Spider-Man? He's up there, but he's not
Not
he's
valuable.
not. Yeah, I mean, like, like the Ben Riley first appearance, which is the first appearance of Scarlet Spider is Web of Spider-Man 1. Oh, what's the issue number?
Yeah, it's issue 1. It's not the greatest cover. It's an okay cover.
He's like jumping out. It's an okay cover,
Yeah.
but the thing about it is, here's the thing about that book. It has done well price-wise, but everyone be very aware there was massive manipulation in the price of that book. There were about 4 or 5 fake sales that put the directs above 1,000. All of those were illegitimate sales. All of them were.
Right.
And that's how much the Newsstand was supposed to be selling for. It was selling for at that time, but someone tried to turn the Newsstand into like a $3,000 book. It ain't. But the Newsstand is like a $700, $800 book in that comic, and the reason for that is it's very difficult and high grade. I've never successfully graded out a Newsstand 9.8 of that book, and it's not for not trying. I've purchased many raw newsstands of that book, but for some reason, man, I don't have any 9.8 candidates, so it's a tough one. But
Web
that's a
118.
significant book. Yeah, 118.
Well,
there you go, Andrew. Thank you.
Scarlet Spider looks amazing. Hold on,
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab something.
Scarlet Spider, super dope, super significant. Is he ever going to be a Miles? No, the time for that to stick in the way that it would have is past. But he's going to be one of the ones that's always discussed in a respected way. And I do believe his first issue is worth having. It's historically relevant, and it may become even more important later on. Again, you're listening to someone that doesn't read too many, of anything happening. Look how cool he is. That's so sick.
Yeah. So Scarlet looks amazing. I think he would look good on screen.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you much about his storyline, like in terms of it being compelling.
I can't tell you much of it either, to be honest with you.
I know he has blonde hair. I mean, it's something, right? But my point is like, if they decide to put him on screen and they tell a compelling story, he already looks awesome. So then maybe something happens.
Yeah, there can definitely be more in the future for that character, but if you just, find yourself digging through some back bins at a comic book shop and you see Web of Spider-Man 118 in decent shape for a couple of bucks, it don't hurt to have it.
Oh yeah, so this is the this is a card that has the curse word on it or something like that.
Well, I like curse word cards. Which one's that?
Yeah, but I think what it was is people thought it was rare. Maybe it wasn't rare.
Oh.
Yeah, not sure. It's
Is
got
it a
some lore
Batman
behind it.
card?
No, no, it's a baseball card.
Oh, okay, got you.
Yep. Here's a cool question. What do you guys think about Stan Lee autograph graded comic books, and do you guys think it's a good investment? Is it worth almost 2x? I
Ooh, there's
remember right
so
before
much here.
Stan passed, his auto was only adding like $50 to $300 on a book,
Okay.
like depending on the book.
Sounds like what an artist's autograph adds to any general book these days.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
he's saying it's almost 2x now. I haven't kept up with it.
So the thing is, in some books, it is, but it definitely depends on the book. Here's an easy example, like Amazing Spider-Man 362, right?
Mhm.
The second appearance of Carnage, the first time all three, Carnage, Venom, and Spider-Man are together on a cover. Dope book, right? You
Mhm.
get a 9.8 of that book. In today's market, it was more expensive a year and a half ago, but right now, there's a lot of those books, right? So you get a 9.8 of that book direct, like $100. You get a 9.8 of that book newsstand, like 150 to 250, depending on where you're shopping, but not crazy. And if that book's signed by Stan Lee, it's not. Oh, actually, that was a bad example because that example would double it, but it would double the price just because the price of the book's only $250. So that was a bad example, right?
Yeah.
But if you just take a book that's readily available and there's a lot of them signed by Stan Lee, it's not going to double the value of the book. But for some
Mhm.
books, it literally does. Like I've seen books worth $1,000 sell for $2,000 because of the Stan signature. And Stan Lee's signature recently, I'll give you some insight into what sort of communications I've been dealing with in the last, like, let's say 1 year. And it actually slowed down. Andrew says here, Stan Sig is definitely gearing up, but the quality of that signature and placement strongly determines that the X factor. He's so right about that. Justin, you've spoken about this. His signature became a little less Stan Lee signature, later, and it's because he was exhausted of doing it and he was being taken advantage of, and
Mhm.
so on and so forth. You could tell
Right.
which
And I think
signatures.
years are going to play a role. So to his point,
Definitely, yep.
what the quality, the placement, but the
Yeah.
win is going to be a big factor.
It is. And this is something that I wouldn't have known unless it hadn't happened to me. But it has slowed down recently. So whatever this is worth, glean whatever you might from this, but whatever this is worth, for whatever this is worth. Let's say starting about a year ago, I started getting inquiries from people outside of America, like from Asian countries. It was actually predominantly from Asian countries, but maybe even European countries. But I'm just saying outside of America. I'm not talking Canada. I'm talking about on different continents. I
Mhm.
was getting messages. They didn't care what it was. Is it signed by Stan Lee? Do you have anything signed by Stan Lee? Can we buy things signed by Stan Lee? So there was definitely something happening. Oh yeah, and Andrew's bringing this up here. The 100th anniversary. Stan Lee's 100th birthday, right? That was this year. So that might have been what led into me getting all of those requests and questions from people internationally, and that has recently slowed down. There might have been two factors feeding into it. People realizing, oh, the 100 years about to come, we need to
Mhm.
scoop up as much of this as we can, and the market was blazing hot, right? So now the 100-year thing has happened, if you will, and the market's not as hot anymore. But there was such an interest in Stan Lee signed books. It did not matter what the book was. People were paying you double for like a $300 book easily, but that's what it's worth anyway, because
Mhm.
Stan Lee signature should add at least $400 to $500. Me personally, I think a Stan Lee signature should add $400 to $500 to anything. Does it? No. There are Stan Lee signed books that are not important books that sell for like $200 all the time. Dude, the signature alone is worth more than $200. You can give me a tissue signed by Stan Lee. If it's authenticated, it's worth more than $200. So they sell for less than they're worth all the time. But some books, man, they add a huge premium. Like I know collectors that have certain books. They're like, but I don't have the one signed by Stan. I've never saw the one signed by Stan.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to give it a crazy multiple. I have a book in my collection that somebody's offering me way more than it's worth because it's the only one signed by Stan. That's a different scenario, though. Yeah, that's the
yeah,
only one.
because I mean, there's some books that Stan has signed that you're like, he had no business signing that.
Yeah.
Like it has Marvel on it, maybe, but other than that, what connection does Stan have to it? It's like, hey, this is the only thing I have for you to sign. Sign this for me, Stan.
Yeah, Stan signed everything, right? Like, it's but yeah, man. So good question. Some of them are definitely worth double. I didn't realize how many were actually worth double. A lot of times, man, $1,000 book signed by Stan goes for over $2,000. A lot of times.
You know, it's really cool to open up a pack of cards and pull out a Stan Lee auto.
Wait, did you do that?
No, gosh, no.
Oh, I thought. Oh, I was like, you had that experience? Oh my god!
But it's a real experience. People have really had it. It is really possible. Marvel Beginnings has on-card autos of Stan Lee.
Marvel Beginnings?
Not the new one. 2011, 2012.
Okay. It caught me up for a minute. I was like, they were holding out and decided to put them in some new sets? Okay.
Well, not only is he signing the cards that he's signing is a representation of the comic book. So he's signing X-Men 1, AF-15, Fantastic Four 48, So it's really, really cool.
Stan signatures are a big deal, man. And having a good-looking, well-placed older Stan Lee signature is a pretty amazing thing.
The Hulk 181 Stan Lee auto that my brother got that I have in my possession. When he set the book down in front of Stan was going to sign right over Wolverine's face. And my brother goes, "No, Mr. Lee," like right here.
What a save. You know how many people wouldn't have said anything at all?
Oh, thank God. It graded out a 9.0. So 181 9.0 with a Stan Lee auto.
That's pretty awesome. That is very special. Is that a book that you could see your brother keeping forever, or will he sell it?
Well, so the book is in my possession because basically I basically gave him a loan. I said, here's money. And you just pay me exactly what I loaned you at any point in time in history and in the future, and the book's back into your possession.
Okay.
If something happens to you, it goes to me. If something happens to me and you, it goes to your kids. And we drew it up and made a contract and all that kind of stuff. So we both view it as like a family heirloom. Cool. I was at the time in his life, I was afraid it would be sold. And so basically I did that to keep it in the family.
God. That was the way of, that's why there was a loan associated. It was like, hey, you don't have to sell it. We got this.
Yep. Let's go ahead and remove any temptation to do that.
Yep.
And it stays here. It's just on my wall. And I think it's really special. It's really special because my brother, the way he acquired the book, he's on the way to Dallas Comic Con, or some Comic Con in Dallas that Stan Lee's going to be at. He answers some type of post or ad or something on Facebook, I believe is what it was, where this lady's like takes a picture of this box of comic books. And
I love these stories.
He literally drives all, like it's on the way. He like literally pulls over off the interstate. It's a box of Hulk books, pays her like $100 for them, gets in the car, starts going through it. And it's literally the run 100 through 200 of Hulk, the Incredible Hulk.
Wow. So
he pulls out Hulk 180, 181, and 182, gives the rest of the books to the guy he's traveling with, and the guy agrees to pay his way into the con and to get Stan Lee to sign the book. So he gets Stan Lee to sign 181, gets it immediately hands it to CGC. This is all in one trip. And then has the book graded, comes back a CGC 9.0 with the Stanley Auto. So the fact that he,
wow.
the fact that he found the book in the wild in the way that he did, and literally no money into it, basically, and was able to meet Stan in person and get it signed, has the photo. It just means a lot from a family standpoint.
It happened in such a way that you can't disassociate the events
Yes,
from the book.
100%. And it also has the Stan Lee label.
Oh yeah, that's a victory. Yeah, that's a victory. Speaking of something that Andrew has said, Andrew here said, well, destructive collectors, I don't know, but he said, does Spider-Punk have his own card? You would know this.
Oh yeah, so Spider-Punk is definitely on sketch cards that are pack pulled. I have yet to see or recall a Spider-Punk trading card.
Got it. Okay. Andrew says, Amazing Spider-Man Super Special 1 is Scarlett's best cover in his opinion, and then he's laughing. The reason he's laughing is because that is an homage to Spider-Man 1, the most homaged, that's an homage to what this is an homage to.
Oh, so that's so funny. A friend of mine's like out of town. He's like, hey, and he's like not into comic books at all. He's like, hey, I saw this comic book. I thought you would want it. And it was this book.
Oh, the Bradshaw one? Oh no, the Scarlet Spider one.
The Amazing Spider-Man Super Special 1.
Dude, that's a sick book. It's yellow, it's got like silver foil, shiny web, and it's got Scarlet Spider doing the homage pose. It's also a flip book, if I remember, and the other side's not attractive. Like it's not attractive.
Yeah.
Hey, Andrew, are there newsstands of that book? There are. I think. Okay.
Deadpool D's. If the value of a comic book goes up after it's been autographed, does the value of the Marvel card go up after it's been autographed, or is that considered damaging the card? Love this question. Most current Marvel card collectors who's been in the hobby would very much tell you to stay away from any auto on a Marvel card that was not pack pulled, meaning you pull the card out of the pack, you take it to the person, and then they sign it. Almost everyone would tell you that. In fact, there's been some people who have gotten heat for having artists sign cards that are numbered, meaning they're rare. There's not a lot of them. And then they're not auto cards, having somebody sign it, because in their mind, it takes it out of the population. Actually, it's damaged. I think the thing that could change that is if there start to be witnessed autograph with grading in the way that comic books are done, like with CGC. That I think could change things. Like if Clayton Crane has art on a card and he's doing a signing again, and I can get that card with a Clayton Crane auto in the Crane bow, and the grading company would recognize it and grade it. Like in PSA and BGS, they grade autos. Okay. But like, I think that might could change things, but for the most part, it's a stay away from. If you're on eBay and you see cards that have autographs on them, do your homework to make sure it was pack pulled before you spend any significant amount of money.
Yeah. I'm glad that you brought that up because pack pull significant. The authenticity, when we were talking about autographed comic books and things of that nature, we are talking about I'm specifically talking about CGC Signature Series books. I'm not talking about raw books that have been signed. And the CBCS verified ones, I'm talking about those two. Authenticated by CBCS, recognized to be the authentic signature. Sure, I'm talking about those two. But I'm talking about graded stuff the same way you're saying. If it's pack pulled or if it's witnessed, not just a card signed, because who knows who signed the card. And then Andrew says that Scarlet Spider book, The Amazing Spider-Man Super Special, does have a newsstand. Not only that, he's got one in a 9.8. And so, Andrew, I must have forgotten. If it's on your page, I've seen it. I've drooled over it already, and I forgot. Congrats.
That is awesome. Andrew also says, do you think those witness SIGs on cards would kill the market of existing? No, actually, in a way, I think that it would help the market if people understand it and recognize the difference between the two, meaning that if the company's grading it will recognize the difference between one that's pack pulled versus not on the label.
If it's pack pulled, it's not. It could still maintain its value, even though there's witnessed ones out there, because the pack pulls, if they're identified by the grading company, we know they are the real deal.
Yeah, I think witness signature should have a totally different label. Like it should stand out, apart from something that was pack pulled.
Yeah, it should be
If that,
separated.
if that happens, then I think people would be able to go, okay, well, that makes this one more rare and more special than, I just paid a few extra bucks and stood in the line and got it signed.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So Keith, who is going to meet Simone Bianchi, says, I was considering having Simone sign and certify the Tier 4 Iron Man base that I have. Thoughts? Simone did the 2018 Marvel Masterpiece. Tier 4 means there's only 99 of those cards, meaning only 99 people can complete the full base set. And he's asking if he should get it signed. Well, it's 100,000% your prerogative, but there are definitely people who would be upset by it. If an artist signs the slab instead of the card or the book, is that better or worse? I think that would be better in the sense of if you're trying to preserve the card, because you always crack it and the card's there. But from a value standpoint, I think it would be worse.
Yeah, from a value standpoint, it would be worse. You would have to do something creative. Creative is an example. I mean, I'm going to steal an example. There is somebody, I don't remember who it was. I actually think it was a facilitator or it was a company that works closely with CGC. They organize private signings. It was not like, just a community member. It was somebody that was in there in the industry. But that doesn't even matter. He had a Spawn 1. And if I screw up any of the details, they're not pertinent. But it was a Spawn 1 9.9. Oh. And he had Todd McFarlane at his establishment doing a signing. Now, of course, you would want your 9.9 to be a signed 9.9, but you don't dare crack open a 9.9.
Yeah.
So he, on video, had Todd sign the case. Well, now you know it really happened because it's on camera. So you still have your 9.9 signed by Todd on camera. In a case like that, pun intended, I think the value has gone up. You have the supporting evidence.
Really?
And in that particular case, that is a much cooler 9.9 than the one not signed by Todd with a video of it. Right?
Does it look good?
Yeah, from what I remember, it looked really good. I'm going to pull it up.
I think the aesthetics would play a big role. Yeah. Now, what I think could actually be a cool trend is sketching cases.
What the heck? Drawing on the case. Why not?
Like imagine on the back of the case, you pay for the artist to do like with color and everything, like a really cool sketch.
You're definitely deeper into the fun of it than I am. I'm just having that thought for the first time. I'm accepting of the signature. I'm scared of the sketches at the moment.
What if you had like what if you have like a sticker that could be peeled, but that you could put on the back that
clear vinyl?
Sketched. Yeah, they could be sketched. And if somebody wanted to peel it off, they could, but it would be.
I think I don't see anything wrong with it. I think if somebody likes that and they want to do that, I think that's fine. Like I'm picturing it like a skin on your laptop, and if you wanted, I
tell you what, some of my Spawn books, if I was sitting down with Todd and he would sketch on the case, I'd do it.
Yeah, I mean, who would say? He'd be like, "Yeah, go ahead, doodle on it."
Because the book isn't being damaged. The 9.9 is that's a that's a 9.9, but like some of my 9.8s, like I actually think that would be really cool if he drew on it. If I gave him one of my Spider-Man books, it was a 9.8, and he would sketch Spider-Man on it, I'd be so down.
Matt Smith. First of all, Matt, I'm so sorry. I've been with you the entire time. I've been acknowledged. You're here with me. I'm sorry if I didn't say hi, but hello. Then you really have to take extra care not to let it smear or smudge. You're absolutely right. Like even if you put it into a bag, you still don't want to be holding it on top of the signature.
Yeah. I'm saying this assuming that the sketch would, it would be okay on it. Like I don't know how the marker reacts or what type of marker will react a certain way. But yeah, obviously plastic seems like it might would smear, but that's the same way with the auto, the guy that signed it. Like you still have to protect that.
Yeah, you're just going to be cognizant of it. You're going to handle that particular item in a different way. And don't store it anywhere where it might sweat. because that would be bad.
Yeah.
You know?
Sweating's bad.
Sweating's bad. I was trying to find the like a picture of that 9/9 that was signed, but I don't know where to look for that.
That's
but it was
okay.
cool. I remember watching the video. I think it was signed in lime green. It was good looking. It was really good looking, actually.
Yeah, that actually would be pretty cool.
It was pretty neat. I'll say neat. Like for instance, I'm taking a couple of J. Scott Campbell books. This is just related to videotaping something. So when you buy these books from J. Scott Campbell's, Matt, you owe me some pictures, you know that, but I'm glad you're here. So like, this is a book this is a really great looking cover, by the way.
Yeah, let me make it big.
Yeah, thank you. It's a really gorgeous cover. I'll zoom in a second. You can see it sitting on the ledge of a building, the moon in the background. You got a couple of cats on the side of her, and then it's signed by Campbell. This is Black Cat number 11, J. Scott Campbell cover. It's just a gorgeous book.
Why would you get that signed without it being witnessed?
No. This is purchased that way. It's you buy it from his website, so on and so forth. He sells these signed ones, but here's what I'm getting at: is he sells them with a certificate of authenticity and this sticker. The sticker is a seal, and obviously, if you open this, it's going to ruin the sticker. You'll be aware if the seal was broken. So in this case, it's kind of like evident that this book belongs to that certificate. But here's the issues that I have. I care about looking at the back of my book to confirm the quality of it, the condition of it. I can't look at the back of this book without opening the seal. And if I open the seal, they're going to tell me it's not sealed anymore. So that's stupid first. And then secondly, this is a different complaint. The bags and boards that he sends these books in, they're terrible. I mean, they're good quality. This is a Mylar, and this is like a halfback or something back here. But the size of it is terrible. Look on this side. You can't even see the board.
Oh, I got you.
That's just the book. The book hangs out further than the board. And the reason that's a problem is I had 2 of these. This is the 3rd one I bought from eBay to get one that I didn't have to return, because the other 2 for sellers that just put these in Gemini mailers, if that corner gets jammed, the book is jammed. There's no cardboard to take the hit. So 2 books got damaged, and I had to return them until I finally got one in the mail that didn't get damaged. Like J. Scott Campbell, fix that. Bro, fix that.
Yeah.
We're paying a lot of money for these books. Protect them. Crazy. And I can't even open it to replace the bag and board. Oh, so that brings me back to what I'm going to do. I'm setting up a camera. I'm opening this on camera. So if anybody ever purchases this from me down the line, I'll send them a little iPhone video. You can identify the signature by the details. You know where it ends. Every signature is like a fingerprint, right? And you will clearly see me remove this book from this certificate's bag and put it into what I deem more protecting. And if I ever want to sell it, you view the video, you acknowledge and recognize it's the same book, and it's your choice to pay me or not.
But you can't get that graded at CGC because they are not going to recognize. They're going to put a green label on it.
It's going to be a green label, which I have Campbell books signed with the green label because they're beautiful books, and I think the green label looks fine. But yeah, you're right. Even though I still have the COA with them, there's no real association of the COA with the book now, because it could have been any COA with any book, essentially. Right. But
so they do make clear backs, because that was going to be my thing. Do they make clear backs? But
they do, again, but you would have to open this and put them in that.
Right.
And
then
but
they could, but Campbell
they could. They absolutely could. I'm actually who said that?
Matt Smith.
Oh, cool. Yeah. They absolutely could. Man, I just want them to put it in a better one, but a clear back would make the most sense, because then we would never have to replace it. We could still look at the back. The back of these books, we all know, just have ads of other books. For some reason, most of them do. The hesitation I have with any clear backing boards, the reason I don't have them is because there's no long-term research on there's no long-term experience on the 2 brands right now. I think there are 2 companies that manufacture them. One is predominant in our community, and beautiful brand, beautiful product. I want it. But the reason I don't have it is I'm a set it and forget it sort of guy. And I can't put my precious books into those boards because I don't know if 10 years from now they're going to turn yellow or not.
Right.
I don't know. Plastic does weird things. And all they've been able to provide me is, as much as they are able to provide me, is all sorts of research.
Oh, Justin, you must know Matt as MechFit Comics.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, good.
Oh yeah, he's been asking me about PMGs, and I'm like, I don't know.
Well, it's good to know his superhero name.
Yeah, right. And so I've talked to the company, and they give me all of the technical research on the material they use, so on and so forth. But for me, I'm like, that's great. I still need to know. I need 10 years of history. You know, I just want to see your board 15 years old, right? Swish Rip said if they are acid free, it should be okay. No, I think so. Like, I think so, but I don't know anything about it. But I think so. That's like my favorite term, acid free. You know. All right, let's see where we're at. We gotta. Hey, Justin.
Yeah.
You know, I don't care at all because I'm here, but I know you were adamant about getting your sleep and not letting things get off track.
I
and
do.
We're already,
I think we're at a
3:20
good.
in.
I think we're at a good spot, my friend.
Okay.
I do. This has been a fun, fast show. 3 hours and 20 minutes goes insanely quick. And I know there are comments here that we didn't get to. And
well, in the next 5 minutes, I'm going to cover like the most recent 7 or 8.
You go ahead and do that.
And then we'll say goodnight here. So let me just catch up on all of this really quickly here. Witness this, considering certify artist slab. You really have to take care of the smear. Yes, I like the sticker idea. LOL, good, all good, bro. Gifting up here paper. Okay, so I sent another one. I sent you another one.
Sent you a photo. I think is what he meant.
Oh, Andrew. Okay, I'll look at it when I'm off of it because I have to use my phone for that. So I'll definitely look forward to seeing those messages. Yes, J. Scott Campbell, terrified for his Spidey metal potential. I'm not sure. I missed the context. I'm just trying to slide through these.
Well, he's just saying, what if J. Scott Campbell has art in Spider-Man metal?
I mean, what if it's great? Oh, here, guys, I don't like J. Scott Campbell's Spider-Man. I don't like his eyes that he does for Spider-Man. I think he does great everything that I love that he does, but I don't think he does a good Spider-Man. I don't even really like his Venom. I don't, he's too J. Scott Campbell for me to like what he does for the characters that I'm used to other ways. They're very sleek and good looking and athletic, but I just like him to do my Black Cat. Yeah, like I just love J. Scott Campbell Black Cats. You're
not alone.
Yeah. J. Scott Campbell knows what he's doing over there. That guy's got a great eye, but Spider-Man don't have to be that pretty. All right,
Speaking of pretty, did you see that Post Malone's new video has him in a nun dress?
No.
Moving on. Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
Post, I was just warming up to you.
Who? Anyways, what?
Post Malone.
Anyways. Oh yeah, no, yeah, right. But what an incredible talent that kid, man!
He is.
I just can't believe that he's still creating such amazing music. I mean, not that he shouldn't be, but it's just like, man, that guy's really legitimately a genius.
No doubt.
All right, I think we're caught up on about everything.
Manu, you're fired again. I'm not going to listen to J. Scott blasphemy.
I'm sorry, Keith. No, Keith, you got to understand. I love J. Scott, but his Spider-Man's not my Spider-Man because McFarlane's Spider-Man is my Spider-Man.
Got to have some muscle on him. Yep.
Oh yeah, and you like it even older school. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome, my friend.
I love podcasts. J. Scott Campbell, fix that. Manu, episode 14. And I'm so glad to see you. That's really nice to see you. All right, we have friends. We are signing off because we have to let Justin go. Justin is falling asleep during the day when he's supposed to be doing other stuff.
Yeah, I got to pace myself.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. You know what? Know what this means? It means we got to come back next Tuesday. Keep it going.
Yeah.
Thursday, keep an eye on the Marvel card news.
Yes.
Saturday, gonna have a really fun box break with the breaker of boxes. This is Ian Fisher, Cards of Metal. We're talking about the guy who sold the green Spider-Man PMG that sold at Golden in 2021 for $36,000. It really kicked off the PMG run that we saw last year. This guy, has played a role in the Marvel card history. He's going to be on the channel. Great ambassador for Marvel cards. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to open up some X-Men goodness this Saturday. So keep an eye on that. There should be some big news coming in the next weeks. Not only just as it relates to new product, but some other stuff that's going on. So please keep an eye on the channel. We're getting really close to 3,000 subscribers. We're at like 2,840,
Ooh, we're close.
2,840. Doing really well there. Once we get to 3,000, if you're a subscriber to the channel, you'll be entered in to win a HasLab Sentinel, but new and in the box, not mine in my display. Also, Manu, I don't know if you saw this, but I'm like 18 followers away from 2,000 on Instagram. So if you're not following me on Instagram, you want to see Marvel cards and hang out, like I post daily. So
yes,
maybe too much, but have a good
No.
time. Have a good time posting on Instagram. Come follow me over there if you haven't. I'm really excited about getting to 2,000 there. So, man, this has been fun. Any last words for today's episode?
I love you all, and I'm super happy that I'm still able to join you every week, and no one has told me to go away. Thank you.
Not gonna happen. Do me a favor, hit that like button on the way out, and as always, I hope you have a marvelous day.